All right. I guess I'm live. I just had to figure out Streamlabs. Guess guess which one? Streamlabs OBS. I think I'm live. Hang on. It says 1/7/2025 here. Levon, okay, yeah. There's okay. So the comments okay, so it is working now. Jesus fucking Christ, dude. Streamlabs. I had to fucking make a whole new I think they banned my account. I had to make another account. And now I'm back. What's up, Levon? Happy New Year, man. Oh man, so I, you know, like doing YouTube. I'm not like a popular guy on YouTube or anything like that, but it's still like a situation where I just don't like to put everything about my life on the internet. So, but and in looking back, I probably should have put this up because with the view from my flat. Oh, because I'm in a new location because I'm making a love seat slash couch for us. Can you see that? But I ran out of screws, and I had to go back to the. So that's where I used to live stream from, and the TV's up there. I was live streaming from underneath the TV, and I had triple monitors set up, and I left the one still mounted beneath the TV. But so now I'm in the corner. You can't see where I'm at now. I moved the computer desk over here, where the heavy bag is, like, but it's just off far enough where I can still use the heavy bag. And I'm building so a friend of mine had some pallets, and a friend of mine had some pallets, and I said, yeah, I'll take them, but I didn't know they was like they weren't normal pallets. These were a little more hardcore pallets to rip apart. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make a couch, just like winging it, right? I'm just gonna make it, and all I got was like just little $5 shitty IKEA, shitty little shitty tools, like nothing even really good. But I'm almost done with it now. I would have finished it. I would at least made it sittable today, like usable today. But I ran out of screws, and I would have had to go all the way back to the construction store to get screws. So I'm just gonna go tomorrow. What's up, Jen? Happy New Year. What's up, Andre? Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Anthony. MG Verde. What's up, man? Mad TV scarily look like Phil Lamar minus the hair. Word up. But yeah, so on New Year's, what I wanted to post, I probably should have done it because the view from my flat. So there's the window. Can you guys see? That's like, but it's dark. You can see the lights in the city and out there. But so the view from my flat for New Year's is usually like easily one of the best views. Like put like this: if I were to die and I would think about seeing like New Year's fireworks, I'd be like, wow, like I lived in a great location to see fireworks, and most people will probably never get this opportunity to live in a place where fireworks with a view of fireworks like this, especially on something like New Year's, because you see it like all over the whole city and outside the city, all the fireworks go off. Well, the issue was this year, the first time since I've ever lived here, it was so foggy. It was so foggy because there's a river down there. Like it was so foggy, not even half the fireworks was shot off because you couldn't even see them. Right? There was still some people shooting off some fireworks just to do it, but you couldn't see anything. Right? Like it was like how Silent Hill used to look like on the PlayStation One. How it was just foggy white, like 10 feet ahead of you kind of thing. That's how it looked outside on New Year's. So like fireworks were like there was no point. And I have some fireworks too because I wanted to take them out because my spouse she never shot fireworks, so I bought some for Europe. They're good fireworks. For America, they're like below average. And we had that conversation. I was telling her how, like, in America, we have fireworks stores if you drive down the highway. And, like, literally the entire store is just like a warehouse of just all different types of fireworks, right? And they don't have anything like, as far as I know, they don't have anything like that over here. But in America, if you're in America, you know what I'm talking about if you're in the US. Those fireworks stores that are just like, it's just literally an entire, like, I don't want to say Walmart. I say it's like at least a Walgreens for European people who might be watching. It's bigger than a DM. I would say it would be about the size of a Lidl, No, probably bigger than Lidl. It's probably bigger than these fireworks shops. How I remember them in America, and it's just nothing but fireworks. Just fireworks, fireworks, and like not just like shitty fireworks that just pop, but like like more hardcore fireworks. But anyway, yeah, New Year's this was the first year I had a shitty view, and then uh, Baby Kratos hit a new league of being baby. So he's at the point now where he's like he's finally. I was talking to one of my students today at the bank, and we would because he has two kids. When he said his daughter's like 4 and his son is 10 months old, and we were talking about the kids, and I was telling him, yeah, I got lucky, man, because like my son never fucking like I never had to like. I mean, I still watched him 24/7, but I never had to watch him for the protection of his life kind of thing. But now he's getting to that point where like, okay, like you gotta watch him all the time. We were pretty lucky up until now. Like and even then, like if it were just be me and him here, he'd probably be all right. But if it's me, him, and mommy, then he just he's ridiculous. Just like I was when I was a kid. Just like anybody when they were a kid. Like when mommy's there, the kid just turns ridiculous. So it's to the point now, like at least when she's around, like you have to watch him. But if it's just me, like he knows what he's supposed to do. You know what I mean? Like that's just how it goes. But yeah, fireworks were shit this year. Baby hit a new turning path. Oh, and I had an example. Basically, low yield ordinance. I don't know what that means. Maybe I'm just not in the right mentality, Anthony, to to decipher it. Because I'm pretty tired actually. What's up, Flick? Yo, JM's out. Yeah, a few seconds ago. Yo, thanks. I hope it makes a sound. There it did. Did it make the sound, or is my volume just too low? Thanks, man. Let me make that. Oh wait, how do I do it? It's been so long since Streamlabs worked. Uh-oh. Hang on. Let me move alert box. Come on. Okay. Now, let me redo it. There it goes. Thanks a lot, JM. Oh shit, I'm moving the wrong thing. For the $10. Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it. This is crazy. This is crazy. Thanks, man. Oh yeah, I had because I called the other female friend of mine before I started live stream, but she's at work right now because I was gonna have her talk about it on live stream because I called her and asked her the same question I asked my spouse. Right? She was in the kitchen cooking something, and I was sitting at the table, right? And I was gonna make a quick video, but I just got too caught up in my own life and things I do, so I never ended up making. I was gonna make like a 2-minute video as an experiment. This experiment, I want you to ask a woman, right? And it preferably ask a woman who's generally the more honest type, right? You generally you gotta ask these type of women because women don't lie. So we were in the kitchen. My spouse, she was cooking, and for some reason I was sitting in the kitchen. Probably, because I think because the baby he was in here playing with his trains, and usually when it's like him, her, and the baby, she'll be in the kitchen cooking. I'll be sitting at the table when they're talking to her, and he'll be in here playing with trains and shit like that, right? Where I can still see him. And some kind of way we got talking about, women wanting to fuck bad boys, right? Or wanting to fuck dudes who are assholes. That's what it was. And she goes, "Why you always say that? We want guys to be nice to us." And I always tell her, like, yeah, you want guys to be nice to you, but in a certain way. But you don't want to have to, like, no woman wants to have to fuck a nice guy, right? So here's the example I gave her. And this is an extreme example. And the reason why I always give extreme examples is to cut to the core of all the bullshit people try to mix and hide the reality in, right? This is why I always go to extreme scenarios, right? And I told her this is going to be extreme scenario, but hear me out. And anybody watching, ask your spouse, and if a girl's watching, answer this honestly to yourself. If somebody put a gun to your head and you had to choose, like you had to fuck for your survival and your child's survival, right? Somebody put a gun to your head and went, yo, look, you have to fuck either Gandhi or Hitler. which one would you pick? Right? You had to fuck. Okay, Hitler versus insert nice guy here, right? Because another one thing women say, well, I don't like how Gandhi looks. No, I ain't got nothing to do with how they look, right? And every woman knows that too. Every woman knows that. It has nothing to do with what the guy looks like. If somebody had, and ask any woman in your life that who you think will give you an honest answer, and this will cut to the core of all the bullshit. And even if some women might try to lie, because a girl, the friend of mine, she tried to lie at first, say Gandhi. I said, why? She goes, because I hate Germans. Okay, no, it ain't got nothing to do with them being German, right? Just if it was Hitler's, but imagine if Hitler wasn't German, right? Let's say he was fucking French or something like that. If somebody held a gun to your head and said you have for the survival of you and your children, you gotta choose the fuck Hitler or or Gandhi or just insert nice guy here. Which one would you pick, right? And I told, and it was so back to the original synthesis of this experiment. My spouse, she was standing at the stove. She was cooking something, and she goes, first she tries to go, well, I don't like the way Gandhi looks. And I said, that only had nothing to do with it. If a gun to your head and you had to fuck one or the other one, which one would you rather fuck? And she tried to come with some other bullshit excuse. I said, no, just strictly here. And then she stares at me and she goes, I get your point. Right? Because she couldn't say that she would fuck Hitler. She couldn't say it out loud. Right? But I know she would. Just like I know the female friend of mine, any woman would know. Very few women would choose a nice guy if you put a gun to their head. Very few. Very few, if any. I don't think any would. I mean, you're always going to have somebody who genuinely would. But I would say on average, the only ones who would be the ones who got their feelings hurt by somebody like Hitler already. Then they'll say, she'll take it out on Hitler in that form. But a woman would rather fuck Hitler than fuck the nice guy working at the bakery. Because he's nice. She use him for his money and all that. I mean, what money? He's a baker. He doesn't make much money. But let's be real about it. But she'll use him for whatever resources he can provide to her. But she don't want to have to, seriously. And so my spouse, like she got serious. It was like, I get your point. But seriously, try it. Try it. Anybody watching, try it in your life. Ask women if somebody held a gun to you and ain't got nothing to, because here's the thing. Women always try to pull this whole, women always, when you bring up any kind of theories on that, see, women's immediate defense mechanisms kick on, and to try to combat the situation how they think a man would combat it. Well, what do they look like and all that stuff. Like, okay, here's the thing. When it comes to fucking and when it comes to women truly thinking about fucking and comparing, looks do not mean the same. Looks do not have the same value that it does for women that it does for men. It doesn't. It just doesn't. Right? It doesn't. So, but the thing is, women know that men see it like that. So in her escape route, she'll try to think, okay, well, what would a man look for in it? And I'll reply back to, please him / hopefully he leave me alone kind of thing. And say, oh, well, I don't like the way women's just looking. Blah, blah. And women know women know universally that looks are not important, especially if you're talking about strictly fucking. When it comes to strictly fucking and competing and it's on some serious shit, doesn't mean much to women at all. Doesn't mean very much. Now, when they got time to sit around and think and be in the feminism and shit like that, now they can play all these extra games on top of it. But at the core, no, it doesn't matter. And to clarify that, go back to caveman times, right? Go back to caveman times and all this shit like that. See, or just go to a poorer country. See, when you go to these poorer countries, many times, and I see those pretty boys are looked at as faggots. For real. And I'm not saying that to be hurtful to gay people or anything like that, but they're looked at, when it comes to women looking at a dude who's just pretty and all that stuff, like, it doesn't work. The women be getting them big burly butch dudes. Right? I mean, every now you'll see a woman every now and then with some shit like with some pretty dude, but on average, no, they don't get with pretty boys. Pretty boys don't get resources in poor countries. All right, just don't work like that. So when you look at poor countries, they're not really like jumping around trying to get a pretty boy. But on the flip side, men are always trying to get the pretty woman. See, it doesn't flip. See, and this is the disconnect. And this is the disconnect, right? Is that see, if you go back to caveman times, or you go to poor countries, or you go to anywhere where shit gets real, right? You go to any part in time when shit gets real, women's taste in men change along the time period and what'll get them more resources, right? So if you take a woman, if you take Beyonce, you put Beyonce in a time travel device, and you take her back to caveman times, you think she gonna want to fuck a Jay-Z type of dude? No, fuck no, because Jay-Z can't do nothing out in that wilderness. What Jay-Z gonna do? Start rapping and selling cocaine to cavemen? He can't do that out there. What the fuck is Jay-Z gonna do? What the fuck is T.I. gonna do? What is 50 gonna do out there? Nothing. What am I gonna do? Nothing. Because I'm not about that caveman life. So what is Beyonce gonna do? What is Beyonce gonna fucking calibrate her pussy for? She's gonna calibrate her pussy for the best caveman that go there and get the best fucking T-bone steak for her to bring home and cook. That's what Beyonce is gonna. Beyonce can't do nothing with Donald Trump in that situation. She can't do nothing with Elon Musk. She can't do nothing with an NFL player. She can't do nothing with a dude with $10 million, because $10 million you can't. That is of no worth to a caveman, right? So women's taste in men literally change based off of what can get her more resources in the context of the situation. Right. Right. And men really have to realize it does. But here's the thing. On the flip side, if you take Jay-Z back into caveman times, Jay-Z is gonna look for a cute cave woman bitch, like the cutest cave woman bitch. You know what happened? There's a castle in the center of Prague, right? And I took my girl. She had never been to it, and I took her to it. And at the time, it was real big news because the Czechs had supposedly looked into a skull that people thought was like, I don't know, like I don't know the exact ages. I'm just gonna like bullshit it, but they thought it was like I don't know, like 100,000 years old. But come to find out, it was like 500,000 years old or some shit like that. And so it was such a big deal in this castle that they made these replica people from that time, right? And one of them was a woman, and the woman was probably like 4'10" or some shit like that, right? But it was clearly a woman, and where I'm going with it was I was looking at it, I was like, that bitch is kind of cute. I would fuck that cave woman. Right, right. She had, thick legs. She was in shape. She looked like, her face was a little off, because she was some undercooked shit. But I mean, the cuteness was there. I would have fucked that cave. If that cave woman bitch came around right now, I would fuck that cave woman bitch. If I went back in time, I would fuck that cave woman bitch, right? It is what it is, right? Now, on the flip side, okay, the woman would fuck the caveman, but not because what he looks like. All right, the looks have not very much to do with it at all. I mean, yeah, sure, there's some biological situations, so the guy's just big and strong. Some women just like a big and strong guy, whatever. Some women do. I don't think it's anywhere near as many as people want to believe, but it does happen. But I would okay, because the other part that happened was when I finally told her, we went inside the castle. We were inside the castle the whole time, but we came back out that section, and it was two other statues. Right now, these two other statues were men. Well, it was a man and a woman. It was one over here on this over there, and there was another one over there, but it was in the same walk path, right? And the woman was wearing one of them big booty dresses. You know them old them where they used to wear that dress that had that cage that made their butt look bigger, and they had the dress on. It was a bitch. It was a white bitch because we in Europe. It was a white bitch on one side, and then the other side it was a white dude with the whole armor shit on, wearing high heels and the fucking belly armor shit. Like you know when they had the armor, but back then if you was balling, you had a big belly because I mean you was eating good, so they had the armor with the belly out, right? Right. And I was telling my girl, says I remember I was telling her, I said, you see how this is fucked up, right? Because I would fuck that white bitch with the booty cage dress. Now, would you fuck that dude if looking like that with that belly armor on? No. Would a modern woman? Here's the thing. Would a modern woman fuck a dude wearing heels and that fucking goofy boofy shit to those motherfuckers? No. All right, no, it's not happening. All right, it's not happening. But we would fuck any of those bitches from year one and on, as long as they was just skinny and had some long hair. We'd fuck. That's what it is, right? So at the core, going back to the Hitler situation, it has nothing. Looks have nothing to do, and they never have for women. For women, it's just calibrated to whatever man can get her the best resources that she thinks she can hold on to. The looks are far second, far I would say probably about third, fourth, fifth down. For real, about fourth and fifth down the list at minimum. Um, you still go to brothels, Krista Player? No, man. I was thinking about a couple girls I do kind of miss just talking to. No, to be honest, no. I just don't have any interest. It was really one of those things that ran its course. I was just talking to her about it. I was talking to her. I was telling her I was talking to one girl for a couple hours who's a stripper. Who she was a stripper, and like all that just ran its course with me. Like it's like here's it. Like my life is not a super special life. I wouldn't call it a super special life, but I have done when it comes to looks, right? Because that's all a brothel is gonna be about. Well, that's all most women are really gonna be about. But when it comes to that, um, um, like I've already done all that. So like, and it's really just run its course. I mean, the only time I go is if like somebody from YouTube would come here and they want me to go with them, or like if my dad were to come and he wanted to go and he wanted me to go with him, I'd go with like brothels for me turned into bars. Like I would very rarely go to a bar anymore unless somebody asked me to go. Which that's what happened a few days ago. I was hanging out with a guy I met on the plane on an airplane. I met him on an airplane, and we've been hanging out ever since. And he wants to go out to the bars, so he say, "Hey, I'm free tomorrow. You want to go?" Da, da, da. Say, okay, cool. But I don't go to bars because for me, that's run its course. Um, it's just run its course because I just don't like dealing with well, just the drinking one. I just got tired of drinking beer, uh, and just getting like drunk. The only alcohol I like to drink anymore is my spouse. She gets this cheap. It's this cheap wine. It's 60 crowns, which is like $3. She gets it from the gas station, and it was. I remember the first time she brought it home. It's this red wine, but it has bubbles in it. And usually, I don't like bubbles and alcohol, and it usually makes me sick. But for some reason, this wine one is completely delicious. And two, it only has like 8% alcohol, and like you have to drink the whole bottle to even get drunk, which is what I like about it because it is just not it's not hitting hard. So that's my favorite thing to drink. So when she could like I don't here's the thing, I don't even buy any alcohol anymore. Like she'll bring it home and she'll bring another bottle for me and we'll drink that, but I don't even buy alcohol anymore. Very rarely, very rarely. I mean, I'm sure I'll probably go on another bender here or there, but for the most part, especially with my beer drinking, I can't even. I remember when I used to live stream years ago, I used to drink like the whole like that 2 liter thing. I would do. It was like this bottle. I can't do that anymore. Can't do it. I remember. So one of my students is actually she used to be a newscaster in in Prague, right? And she's cool. She works at a bank. I thought she was gonna be a cunt. I told her that. I thought she was gonna be a bitch because how she was emailing, just it was just real shitty. Like I knew she was gonna be a bitch, but it was at this bank, so I said I'll go in there just to check it out. And she ended up being real cool. She ended up being real cool. And so we were talking, and I asked her. I said, "Is it trashy to get beer in that big 2 liter bottle?" And she goes, "Yeah." In Czech culture, that's considered like trashy. Well, I had to explain to her what trashy meant. It's American slang. I had to explain to her, what trashy meant, and then she goes, "Yeah, that's trashy." It's like, word. I've been doing that shit for years. But I make the cut because I speak fluent American English. So that's the shitty. That's the shitty part about Europe, man. It's like they judge so much based off of your country here. They really do. Like once you leave America, like your identity is your country, and if you should be treated better or worse is based off what your passport has written. And it's really shitty. And that's something that nobody talks about. It's something that people do. It's one of those things I think everybody assumes Americans already know, when in reality Americans don't really fully grasp that theory at all. In everyday life. Because I was trying to explain to somebody, the only time Americans really get on that is when like there was some act of terrorism. Then the whole country will like hate a certain group of people for a while, like Muslims and shit. Well, everybody hates Muslims, which I think Muslims get fucked over. Honestly, I think they get fucked over for that. Um, but yeah, what's up, Zuki? Yeah, man, I was off in my own world doing my own shit, man, and lost track of time, and then or just tired. I was just doing my own things, other hobbies. Yeah, I just don't like to put everything I do on the internet, man. I'm just just one of those. I just don't because I was gonna post a lot of pictures a few times, and I don't know. I just don't like every part of my life being on the internet. So some things I just like to keep, alone, keep to myself. Um, but what I have been thinking about is like the situation of turning 40. Well, I'm 38 now. I'll be 39 this year, right? And how lucky I ended up in life. I mean, some of it was like, choices and shit like that. And others was being lucky, right? Because everybody there's luck in that plays a part in everybody's life for one reason or another. So I'm not gonna take complete credit for all of my life, right? At all. And of course, help from other people, these kind of things. I'm not gonna take all credit for like my life being amazing or anything like that. But thinking back on like my life and at 40 and where I could have been, right? Because okay, so the reason why this came up is because my spouse she got mad at me for this. If she's watching, she already knows what I'm gonna say. But she got mad at me for this too. She always gets mad at me because I'm always saying some out of pocket shit. but, but she says, "Yeah, my friend called me. This friend that she's starting to space out when she talks to my spouse, and she goes, if she called me yesterday and she was so depressed." I said, "Why?" And she goes, "Well, she just said she feels like she's useless. She feels like she's useless." I said, "How old is she again?" She goes, "She's 28." Well, she's sliding in on 30. That'll do it. One. um, Two, she's got no education, no skills, no training. So what does she actually have to offer the world? 'Cause why do you have to make everything about university and college? And why you have? And I always had to explain, like, yo, it's not all about college. It's not all about that. It's about having some type of ambition in life, right? And the reason why I stress, and I think my girl, she gets it confused. She gets my focus on higher education confused with just general ambition in life, right? And I had to explain to her that, that university would have knocked out a whole lot of that. Not all of it, but it could have, knocked out a lot of that sense of feeling completely useless. Because this girl, her friend is 28, no education, no skills. She has a kid the same age as my son, so they hang out and play. But her husband is like fucked up, and she don't know how to do nothing, right, in life. And so now she's going to slide on 30. She's trapped. And she's thinking about going to an insane asylum. I said, yeah, that sounds about right. She needs to go to an asylum. All right. Okay. The reason I said that, not an insane asylum, but the hospital where they like take people when they're tired of dealing with life. Because where her life is at right now, there's no way out of that shit. And I'm not saying this to be mean or anything. I'm saying it to be real about it. See, for those of y'all who are younger out there, like if you're younger, if you're under the age of 25, you got to start doing something. You got to have something that you do. And I would recommend it be something outside of video games. It has to be something that you can walk out into the world with. Now, when I say that, I'm not saying that I measure your value based off of that. But what I'm saying is this is for your own good. Because you're going to end up like my spouse's friend who getting ready to go to the hospital. And it's not uncommon, right? That girl walked around with nothing to give the world other than wearing a tight pair of pants and putting on 10 pounds of makeup and smiling. And she got away with that for so long until she just ended up sliding to 30, right? And she's at a dead end. It's nothing she could do. I mean, well, no, it's a lot she could do, but it would take, actual thought to do it. And that's the last thing, especially women want to do in these situations. They want somebody to come give them something. And don't be mean to them, right? It's nothing you can do. So for anybody watching, if you're under the age of 25, 26, once you start hitting 25, 26, them excuses, none of that shit, them excuses and sympathy don't work no more. I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be completely real with you. Once you start hitting 25, 26, 27, them excuses, blaming your parents or your brothers or whatever. Okay, if you're in a richer country, those excuses just they don't work. I mean, people like let you vent from time to time, but it doesn't mean anything anymore. You have to start. You have to have and do something that you can go out there in the world with. Try it and fail it. That's cool too. But you have to try. You have to start trying at shit, right? Because if you don't, you're gonna slide into 30. And then what are you gonna do? You're gonna do what her friend did. Now here's the thing. Now my spouse doesn't know these things because she didn't study the same things I did. So she doesn't know these deeper things. And maybe I don't even want to explain it because I explain too much to her all the goddamn time anyway. But what's gonna happen is, see, if you don't go out there in that world and try and do something with your life on some level, you're gonna start sliding in 30, right? And then what's gonna happen is everybody's gonna do this. It's not just gonna be you or her friend or not just that one person in your life. Everybody does this. You're gonna slide into 30 and you're gonna look around and be like, what the fuck do I have in my life that I can be proud of? What do I have of me that I can do with my life, that I have in my life, that I can be proud of, right? And if you ain't got nothing, that's how you end up like her friend. You're ready to go check herself. She's going crazy. She can't talk to nobody. She feels trapped and all this. Now, I told her where she's headed. She getting ready to leave. What she's getting ready to do is, either she's getting ready to sabotage that relationship with the boyfriend, with the baby daddy. She's gonna try to sabotage it. She's gonna start causing problems to make him blow up. That way she could blame him for all the problems. Or if she gets lucky, there's gonna be a dude like me or better than me who's gonna come into her life with some worldly options and take her from him for a little while until he gets tired of her, rugrat. Take her from him, fuck her for a while, and then throw her out because that's her only way out. Especially the last thing women will do is in these situations is to build something within themselves because that's too much like the last thing that women and feminine men will do is build something within themselves because that's too much like ownership. It's too much like ownership and being responsible. Don't want that. They'd rather call everybody else mean, and they just don't like them. Right? Again, so if you're under 26, I say 26. When you start hitting 27, 28, 29, the excuses don't work anymore. You got to get up. You got to do. You got to do shit. Now, I'm not saying don't play video games. I still play video games. I don't think there's anything wrong with them as long as you use it for a specific cause, reason, whatever, and you got some other shit going in your life. But my thing is this: like, you have to I would highly recommend you do something. Maybe not get a college degree, but build something. Try something. I was on Instagram and I seen this dude. He was 22 years old, and he said he owned Subway, and he worked like 7 days a week, and he had a bad month, and he only made like $20 that month. He only took home $20 after all the expenses. And I left him a good message. I said, "Look, dude, keep going. You just had a bad month. You gonna figure that shit out. And you 22." I told him, hang out. If you on Instagram, maybe there's a way you can see my comments of what I wrote, but you can see it on Instagram. I try to leave him a good note, man, some positive, because he said he only made like when it was all said and done after he paid rent and expenses and employees, he only brought home $20 after working 7 days a week for a month. I said, look, dude, you had a bad month. That's all that was. Don't give up. Keep going and hang around other people who's like you. Don't hang out with people who don't hang out with people who ain't doing shit, because they'll never understand, and it'll just make you more frustrated. Time went by so fast since 22. Oh, yeah, JM, that's true. Zuki, what's up, man? You could pass as a 27-year-old if you want to. I know some people that's in her 40s and look terrifyingly destroyed. Zuki, you know what's crazy? So the friend of mine I met on an airplane, we were sitting down in this bar, in this kind of like bar place, and he's same age as me. And we're talking, and I think he forgets that I'm the same age as him. You know what I mean? Like, we're sitting, and he keeps phrasing shit as if like he's like significantly older than me, or that I'm just young. Like I think, and I had to stop and feel like a few times. I said, you do realize I'm the same age as you, right? Right. So I don't know if I look young or maybe he's just weird, but I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, no, Zuki. Yeah, there are some 40-year-olds who look like rough. There's this woman at my spouse's job. I thought she was old. That woman was 50 years old. There's this woman at my spouse's job who's 50 and looks absolutely terrible. Okay, she looks older than my dad. My dad's 68 and she's 50 and she looks absolutely awful. Like there was no way I would ever kiss that woman on the cheek. Her skin looks terrible. But I mean, some people just have bad luck with it, man. I'm not like bashing everybody, but she does. To be fair, this woman does smoke a lot. But some people just have bad luck. Just bad luck. In the end, we're all headed there in some way. But some people just have bad luck with it, man. So I won't bash her completely, but she does look terrible. But we're all headed. I'm headed there one day, if I'm lucky. A lot of women break either mentally or emotionally around 30. I've seen it often. Yeah, Jay, yeah, right around 30. Yeah, and then the next one comes around 40 to 45. The next big breakdown. Well, the first usually happens around 30, and then the next one is around 40, 45. And I think after 45, uh, unless the woman, almost unnaturally kept her physical charm up, I think most of them just accept their fate and just live the rest of their life out in either complete bitterness or try to be overly pleasant all the time to make up for her physical appearance. It's usually one of the two shifts. AD at university is not an accomplishment. Most people only graduate out of fear and choose a career they don't like to do something they don't like, so they end up miserable. Oh, sure, Christopher. Oh, definitely, yeah. Now here's the thing. Like, now here's where I think I'm part lucky, part good decision maker, and then again part lucky. Is that, yeah? Like, I do have degree. Actually, I'm getting ready. Oh, that's another thing. I'm getting ready to go back to school. So I'm going to the school of medicine. I'm gonna have a lab coat. I'm going to the school of medicine. Well, no, I can't say I'm going. I'm applying, and I haven't got accepted for it. The VA finally figured out their bullshit. Well, I got switched back to Ohio, and they say, yeah, we'll just write you up another plan. So they're sending me back to get another master's degree. And this time it's gonna be well, I'm applying right now. I don't know. I don't want to say it because you know how YouTube is, and who knows what the internet might do. But I'm applying to schools of medicine. There's three schools right now, so I should easily get accepted into. You never know. I might get rejected all of them. I'll just try again. But I'm applying to three schools of medicine because they want it now. Because the weird part with because okay, so my old master's degree was in clinical mental health. That's not a serious degree. And this is what I was trying to tell people before. And this is when I got into it. Remember the Goob U2 guy before and these things. See, when you go to school for serious degrees, there's certain things that happen or serious areas of degrees. So when I did my master's in clinical mental health, that was, pretty bare bones. You just you get 2 letters of recommendations, send a resume, get the transcripts. They won't even check half the transcripts because it's a bullshit master's degree. Now, if you go for anything into a school of medicine, they're gonna want to know, okay, what is your history in science? Do you have any history of science ever? So, well, I have a degree in biotech. They say, great. We want those transcripts from your biotech degree. Anything else? And the network engineering degree said, great, because you're going to be working with computers and this shit in the field that you chose. So they want the network engineering degree transcripts. And then I got the bachelor's of health and human services. And it said, we don't even know what that is, but health's in there, so it must be some science in there somewhere. So we want that. But they always want the bachelor's degree anyway. So they're always going to ask for that. And then they want the master's degree because I think some kind of way they twisted the mental health into where I'm going in it too, which I don't really think that fits. If anybody cares, if you just DM me or something, I'll tell you what I'm going. I just don't want to say it on YouTube because I just where the internet's going with AI and the captions and maybe something gets somewhere and it causes a problem later. But I just don't feel like dealing with that shit right now. But yeah. So I'm going back for another master's. But no, but back to Krista Player. No, yeah, universities. So here's the thing. I feel lucky because one, I was born in North America, or I got a degree out of a North American university, right? The reason why that's lucky is because North American universities are usually going to be respected in some form, shape, or way, no matter where you go on Earth. Okay, you go anywhere on Earth, going to an American school is it's never going to be looked down upon, never. And I still don't really properly understand why. I know we do have higher requirements for various situations. Like, okay, one area that I know that we have a higher requirement is, so for those of you who went to university, who went to college in North America, you already know this. So in America, when you go to another school or something like that, they want your transcripts. But the thing is, they want, like, if they don't want the transcripts if you've touched them, they have to be sent directly from that one school to the other school, right? And if it's not sent like that, they're not going to accept it because you can just edit it, you can just change it, whatever, right? Well, in many, Czech Republic is one, and this is why Czech Republic degrees will, if it's a serious degree, it's not going to be respected in North America, because when they send transcripts, how I understand it is you can just go there, get it on paper, take it home, and then take it to the other school, and then they just take it. You could have changed all them grades, bro, right? And the reason why this came up is because I was watching some bullshit YouTube. So you know how they have these stories about, and one was about how an Indian kid. It was about how an Indian kid lied about his transcripts in North America and got kicked out of a university, right? And as they were telling the story, they say he was in America and he already got his bachelor's from one U.S. school, and it was going to I think he was going to med school. And in the story on the video, they said that he took the transcripts from one school and he changed the grades and gave it to the medical school, and they let him in, and they found out and kicked him out. I said, yeah, that's bullshit. Because American schools would never let that. And if you're in America, you went to college and went through that, you would know immediately that, yeah, man, that story is completely false just from that area alone. Right? Right, so I went and told my spouse. I said, "Yeah, this story would never happen because the transcript." She goes, "Oh no, yeah, here you can do that." It's like, "Yo, are you for real?" And there's some other friends out here in Europe told me the same thing. I said, yeah, you just go to the one school, take the transcripts home, and take it to the other school. Man, you could just change all the grades, bro. Like, so where's the validity in your education? There's no validity in it. It's just made up. So, and there was a few other things that came, but no, American. So back to, I feel lucky because I did go to a North American school. I didn't go to a great North American school, but I went to a North American school. So the world just sees it as a U.S. school. Then on top of that, they're all in various different fields. And on top of that, I have friends who are working in these great jobs that will vouch for me and just say I worked for them for the last 15 years or something like that. If I do want a job, they'll just lie for me and say I worked for them. So with me being out in the world for real, like I don't have that same uh, pressure to, for lack of better words, like act right in that career sense. Because like I don't want to say I'm above it, but I'm just I'm at it from a different perspective. Like I'm not locked in to one place. I'm not locked into one group of people. I'm not locked in like that, which has a benefits and negatives. But yeah, I'm outside. I'm completely outside of that, right? Which comes again, it comes with positives and negatives. It's not completely a win. It's not completely a loss. It's just a different set of positives and negatives. But I'm out of that, right? So with my degrees, it's not like okay, like if I was sitting in America and I was stuck in America, there'd be a much higher chance that if I had got one degree, I would have had to stay in that degree, and it would have been this huge deal if I wanted to change careers and all this anxiety and all this shit, blah blah. Blah. Yeah, I'm outside of all that. I'm not saying that these people who go through that are any lesser of people or anything like that, but it's just the world that they're with, which goes on to the next point of why I feel like I'm lucky is because I'm out in the world, right? So and I've experienced a decent amount of world, and okay. Here's the thing: my experience was done in okay. There's two different types of experiences. One type I really don't like, and the other type is for me. For example, I will never ever get a tour guide unless I was in like a real shitty place and I just couldn't figure out where to go or anything. I'm not the type to get a tour guide. I'm the type to go walking down that dark alley, in a new country. I'm the type to go down the unbeaten path. If I see all the tourists going one way, I'm gonna walk down a road that I see nobody walking down. Right? I'm gonna go off that beaten path. Right? I'm trying when I go somewhere, when I travel, I prefer to go to the working class cities, to the working class places, to go see what life is like for real in a place, right? There's two different types of people. One is a type like me. I want to go see the real people. I want to see the people who are tired. I want to see the people who, who are working and they got that sense of like they got to get up and go to work or they not gonna be able to pay their bills kind of thing. That's the people I want to see and go hang out with and talk with, right? I have very little interest in traveling to just to go stay in some luxury shit again or luxury shit. I have very. I think that's. I think that's severely boring. When I went to Vegas, I remember when I was in Vegas and we stayed on the Strip, and it was the most boring shit ever. Because it's just a bunch of people dressed up with nowhere to go. I thought the Strip was terrible. I would never go back unless somebody paid me to go to New York City. I mean, Las Vegas. You'd have to pay me to go to Vegas, and a good amount too. Um, but yeah, with that being said, when it comes to the traveling, see now here's the weird part about traveling, and when people start talking about it, right? See, there's a difference when you travel to go stay and you stay somewhere for years. I would say months to years versus going somewhere to just essentially just exploit slave labor due to currency exchange prices. I think those are two very different. It was somewhere I was talking to a dude about it, and he called himself trying to check me on traveling. And I'm not trying to say I'm the biggest best traveler on earth, but you know I'm to the point where I don't feel like I have a real home anymore, right? And the dude said something like, "Well, I've been to like 69 countries." And see, th- these are the people that I really highly advise you don't listen to about world shit. Who've been to all these countries, especially when they've been to that many. Because okay, all they really did. Okay, when these people travel, all they really do is go there, exploit slave labor for a week or two, and then leave at max, and then leave. Right? I would say these people are a step up from military. I really don't have a lot of respect for military travel because I think it's bullshit. It's not really travel. They're just kind of going somewhere with an American base, and then they won't leave more than 5 minutes off the base or Americanized places. But they'll go back home and tell everybody, yeah, I've been to, I was in here, I was there, but they just stayed with their own people the whole time. Like I think when military a lot of when I think when a lot of military guys brag about traveling, I think it's bullshit. I have a female cousin who did that, and I called her out on it because okay. And this is another thing that a lot of clowns will do when they talk about traveling. Let's say if they had a connecting flight from like Ohio to Chicago to get to Czech Republic, right? Well, technically you wouldn't go directly to Czech Republic most times. Most times you'd either go to Frankfurt or the Netherlands and then come to Czech Republic. But so what a lot of clowns will do is they'll say, "Yeah, I've been to Chicago." Motherfucker, you went to the airport in Chicago, stood around for 2 hours, and then flew out. You were not in Chicago. See, and see the thing about traveling is, and he's with and this is another reason why I'm really kind of getting tired of like just doing YouTube on a whole because there's just so many people on the internet that can just talk, right? And just show a camera real fast of one place and lead you to believe some anything. There's so much bullshit where I'm just getting sick of it. Right? I'm just getting sick of even being involved in the atmosphere in any kind of way. Right? What's this? JM says AD. What's your thoughts on U.S. citizens' backlash on Elon Musk wanting HB1 visa workers from India to come to the United States and work in the tech jobs instead of Americans? Okay, so I have a slightly different perspective on it. I don't even know what this is, but I'm just going based off of what you wrote and the possibilities. So I do know that one, there's usually a culture clash that happens with Indians coming to America working in tech jobs. And two, it's the same typical racism shit, right? What'll happen is like one Indian dude will do something, and like they'll just see all the Indians doing whatever negative thing that one Indian guy did, and would never want another Indian to come back, right? I've heard that copious amounts of times, right? I've heard that a lot. Um, but as far as the visas go, I'm no good with. Okay, I don't know the specifics. Let's look it up. I don't know the specifics of an HB1 visa. Let's look that up real fast. Because as an American, I'm shit with visas because we usually don't need visas to go anywhere. So I'm gonna look that up because I have no idea on the specifics on what an HB1 visa genuinely is. Okay, so you have to have at least a bachelor's degree to get the visa. Bachelor's degree or higher, blah, blah. Well, it sounds like to me, right off the bat, my immediate assumption about that. Oh wait, the wrong thing. Okay, my immediate assumption is okay. What the American is usually going to be mad because they're going to have a completely wrong sense of expenses for this, right? So, and I can't even speak on some of it without verifying it, and I just don't feel like doing it, so I'm not even going to bring that part of it up. But so one, they'll be able to pay them lesser, or if not, who know? If not, I'm okay. They're not doing that for no reason. Who's that? You say Elon Musk is doing it? He's not doing that for no reason. Okay. Um, I will say this immediately. I would rather take Elon's side on this than anybody backlashing over it because okay, I would highly guarantee that that the people who are backlashing over it have no idea about any inner workings on it at all. You know what I mean? Like right off the bat, I would rather take okay, even though okay, he's Elon, I would rather take Elon's wisdom at this point over a random podcaster talking shit. There's a lot of dumb motherfuckers out there that'll talk shit just because they think it's what you want to hear. All right, and they don't have no idea about the reality. I don't know. I would just say this: I'd rather take Elon's decision over it. There was some deal in that was worth it. That wasn't a completely dumb move. Just imagine bringing your girl to America. They'll likely influence her with American culture. She might start challenging you and becoming more competitive with you. Who knows? They importing Uber drivers to build planes for $9 an hour. Well, I mean, I'm not mad about that. Depends on the whole situation. I don't know the whole situation. Um, well, because the whole name of the game is to get labor as cheap as possible, since it's not legal to enslave people anymore. Especially if you're a country like North America and everybody's paying attention to you, you can't just flat out enslave anyone anymore. Um, but yeah, I mean, you also got to look at it too. You're going to get what you pay for. If you pay people $9 to assemble anything, you're going to get $9 an hour worth of work. Don't be surprised, if a wing falls off. All right. Well, to be fair, I think times are just okay. Here's the other part. I think times are just changing with a lot of that. Because now, since we have AI and just better robotics, better experience, better wisdom in these places, the same situation of when they hired all those diversity hires to build those planes. It was like 20 years ago, and all those planes were falling apart. Well, they different protocols. I'm sure they've developed higher ways to monitor them. If these people are willing to go work for $9 an hour to do that, if people are if there's people out there who would jump to go work for $9 an hour, um, in North America, uh, and that's it. Well, here's the thing. I don't even think. Okay, I mean, I don't know. I don't know the whole situation to talk a lot of shit on it. Because okay, if you think about the reality, because if you think about the reality, you're going to end up like another situation like Ukraine in Europe, which America was left in a complete dark about on this. You're end up like another situation like that, where you essentially uh, take on a bunch of people who will never ever be able to afford the cost of living in that country if left to their own devices, right? Because if they could have, they would have done it before. So if they're gonna bring them in there for $9 an hour, that's not enough to survive. So there's got to be more to that story because they're not gonna. Yeah, now I'm thinking about it, that doesn't even sound right. I'm a bit tired too, so my thought process is a little slow. That doesn't even. We're working on planes for $9. They're immigrating. What is it? They're importing Uber drivers to build planes. They're importing Uber drivers to build planes for $9. That don't even sound right. There's more of that story. There's more of that story. The reason why I say that is because when they bring people to a country, okay, especially if it's a poor country, they want to see that you have enough expenses in your bank account to cover like 6 months, like 3 months. You got to have like thousands of dollars in the bank. So if these people were happily coming to be a Uber driver or assembling airplanes for $9 an hour, there's more of that story, or something wasn't told well, because that's not adding up at all. That's just my honest opinion. That's not adding up. Um, doesn't add up. Now the only reason, okay, for me, like I was supposed to do that, but since I had gotten married before, and then once if you just show up with a passport that says a rich country name on it, they're not going to be anywhere near as strict with you. Like coming to like a poor country, like Czech Republic's not a poor country, but it's not a rich country, right? So I came here, I never had to show them. They just asked me how much money I had. I just said it, and that was it. They never needed a notarized bank copy or anything. But I've heard people who did have this, like if you're from South Africa, you're gonna need to show a notarized. If you're from South Africa or some shit like that, they gonna ask for that shit. South Africa gets screwed hard. Um, or there's a good chance you'll get it. You get asked for it. But as an American, you don't get that. Now coming to America to pay now, that don't sound right. That don't sound right at all. That a company would import. Okay, how I'm taking. Maybe I'm misunderstanding something. I'll admit that. Maybe I misread it. Maybe I'm just not miscomprehending it. But that don't sound. That doesn't sound right. You have to drop the assumption that our elites have the best interest of everyone in mind. Well, here's the thing, man. My assumption is not, okay. The best interest in mind, the best interest of everyone in mind, is a very broad topic on many different levels, right? Best interest in mind means a lot. Means a lot of different things. For longevity, for consistent longevity, and then it's just the other factor of nobody really knows exactly what's going to happen, especially now with technology taking off. So that factor is always going to be in there too. And this is why I got on a couple years ago about. There was something I was watching where it was this dude. He was talking about how he hated his boss and all that, right? And this is and I said back then, if anybody, okay, for everything that a boss is going to do wrong or something like that, that boss is just a human like you, right? And there's a good chance that if the average person went up in there and did the same thing, they would do the job worse, much worse. Here's the thing: most of society wants to just sit down and complain until they're given something, which is nothing wrong with that. But that's the reality of what most of society is. Most of society does not want to go run anything on their own. because it's scary. It's a new road, and you might fuck up. And here's the thing. Here's the thing. The thing about running countries and running governments is if you fuck up, there's no reset button. That's all. There's no reset button on that shit. If you fuck up, you got to wear that shit has to come out over years of fixing, right? These types of positions, I'm not gonna say they always gonna make the right decision either. I'm not gonna say that because again, in the end, there's always that situation of nobody knows what's gonna happen in the future. Because if everybody did, everybody would just have a heaven sitting there for them. Everyone would if everybody knew what would happen. So that is always a factor in it. So it's how do you minimize the risk of completely fucking up, right? And here's the thing, completely fucking up does not mean that everybody is just completely dead broke and poor and suffering tomorrow. Completely fucking up can mean everybody can be comfortable for the next 2 years and then be fucked up later, right? So, but then nobody knows what's gonna happen after that 2 years, right? So there's no way of knowing. So what's the best way? What's the best way of making societies last longer? Assassin's Creed 1 was a real good game for that, man. I was like Assassin's Creed. That was by far my favorite Assassin's Creed. I think that's the only game that was actually an Assassin's Creed game. But Assassin's Creed 1, the storyline was really good. That game, I'm not a fan of Ubisoft, but Assassin's Creed 1, if you can get past the terrible voice acting as Altair, that game explains what I'm trying to get at. Because in that, I mean, because I was telling my spouse this, because she was watching me play it, and I had to go kill this dude because it's called Assassin's Creed. That's what assassins do. And because you was told that this dude was withholding food, and he was starving the people, and it was fucked up. So you had to go kill him you had to go assassinate him to free the people for their own, for their good and all this stuff. And so you go in there and you kill the dude, and he goes, "You're a fucking boy. I was saving the food because we got a war coming, and war is expensive." Right, so we don't know what's gonna happen after this war. That's why I was saving the food. Are you a fucking retard? He was pretty much talking to him like that, like you boy, like you fucking idiot, like you killed me, and I was doing what the people need. So after all, so I think after the 8 people you assassinate in that game, only a couple of them were just like really kind of shitty. The rest of them was doing it for like a reason. It was a legit valid. Like they made legit good points. And that's what I'm trying to go with it. I'm too tired to explain it better than that. Did you watch The Penguin? Carlito's Way. No, I have not watched The Penguin. And the reason why is because I do want to watch it. And I told my spouse this. I told her this exact thing. I want to watch it. Because I enjoy the what's his name? The Twilight kid. The Twilight kid. He's a grown man. The Twilight guy. I can deal with this Batman. So I really did want to watch Penguin. The reason I won't watch Penguin is because I think it's incredibly dumb that they went out and got a dude that's my size. They would rather go out and get a dude who's my size, dress him up in fat makeup, and have him do it instead of just going to get a fat actor to play the role. I think that's shitty. I think that's the equivalent of blackface, and I think it's terrible, and I won't watch it. Period. I want to because it looks good. But I won't. I refuse. Because I think that's the equivalent of blackface to do that. They should have went out and got an actor who just looks like that. I mean, maybe not look exactly with the face, but at least have the body build. Like they're not going out and hiring. I don't know. I'm trying to think. They're not going out hiring Benedict Cumberbatch to play Superman and put him in a muscle suit. I mean, they did that shit with Ben Affleck. Well, Ben Affleck just wasn't a good Batman, so that was a self-fulfilling prophecy. But yeah, I think it's terrible. I think it's awful they did that. I think it was dumb. I mean, he did a good job as Penguin. Don't get me wrong, and I think he does a great job as Penguin. But again, I think that's blackface. It's the equivalent of blackface. I think it's stupid. Go hire a fat actor. There's plenty of them out there who would have done it for a tenth of the price. Why didn't you hire a fat actor? Because Colin Farrell's name is not a ticket seller. Let's be real. Colin Farrell's not a bad actor, but his years of being a ticket seller are gone. All right, I have nothing against him for it. I'm not trying to make fun of him, but his name is not a ticket seller name. You don't write Colin Farrell and get millions of viewers just because of that. Colin Farrell got to be doing some shit. Like Colin Farrell jumps off a building. Okay, let me check that shit out. But you don't just write Colin Farrell dynamite. It's like, oh yeah, we gotta see that shit. No, motherfucker will flip the channel real quick. If you just write Denzel Washington, Firetown, motherfuckers be like, yep, put that on the calendar. I'm gonna check that next trailer. You know what I mean? You put Henry Cavill up there, motherfuckers be like, yep, where's that? Yep, just write Henry Cavill, Death Star. Yep, I'm there. But Colin Farrell by himself does not sell tickets, right? I mean, he's not a ticket seller. He's a great actor. Don't get me wrong, but it's just the luck of the media game. You know what I mean? It's just the luck of the game. But no, I do want to watch it, but I won't because the fat suit thing. I was never okay with that. I was never cool with it. Thank goodness you're not in America. It feels like a messy, dirty room. Is it really though, or is it just like news and media always like just spreading the stuff? Is it? I mean, I'm just curious. Like, is it really that bad? I don't, because I don't know. I'm not there. I seen it snowed a lot in Ohio. My dad sent me pictures of Ohio. There's a lot of snow. Not a lot of snow here. But yeah, no, yeah, but back to the India thing. Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna hack your account. But yeah, or the important Uber drivers to build planes for now. That doesn't add up. Honestly, Charlie Guns. That just doesn't add up, man. That doesn't add up to me. That sounds like there's either something more missing to the story, or something was just miscommunicated for what it takes to get visas, especially to a country like the U.S. That's not, because it's far. You can't ride a train in North America or ride buses to get all the way there. That's I'm not gonna say it's impossible, but let's look it up real fast. Let's just Google it. And if I'm wrong, then wait, how do can I copy it? Oh, here. No, it's not letting me copy it. I think somebody else wanted me to copy something out here too. Yeah, it's not letting me copy it at all. Let's look it up real fast. Well, there's ways around that. Foreign residents are not allowed to hold a taxi license. I don't know how. Can you guys see this? I don't know how much you guys know about this, but in Europe they found plenty of ways around that. They'll just have somebody else use. They'll just use somebody else's ID. So that's not even like a hard thing. But the Uber's the website says that they have to be a national citizen. But there's many ways around that out here. Because one thing they're doing out here, they're what was it? I just had it and I forgot it. But there was a lot of scams, not scams, but just workarounds to get money through Uber or taxi. That's easy to get around. Let's do this. Migrants from around the world are flying on charter. Let's see this. Okay, to reach the U.S. via charter planes. TikTok Haitians posted. Fleeing the country by plane. Well, yeah, because Haiti's going through a rough time right now. That makes sense. But charter planes, the sole purpose seems to be to help people migrate. Yeah, they're gonna do that. Yeah, that sounds about right. In New Jersey, it's time trying to unite. He paid nearly $8,000 for his children. Take the flight from Haiti to Nicaragua. Travel acquaintance from the U.S. Some pay as much as $70,000 for the journey from their home country to the U.S. With a large portion of the money going to charter companies. Yeah, the rich ones will be able to leave first. That's always how that's gonna go. Like out here, like with Ukraine out here, the rich ones, the motherfuckers with car notes that cost as much as their average wage in the country, those are gonna be the first ones that can leave. The rich ones are the ones who know people, or the poor people are always stuck. Let's just put it like that. Special search trade. Okay. You know what's funny is like America dealing with immigrants is a complete joke compared to Europe's situation. Like America's situation. But here's the thing. This is the weird part between the US and America when it comes to the situation of immigrants, right? Like America is far more patriotic, deeply more patriotic, right? Here's the thing. Even if the patriotism comes from bullshit, right? Even though our patriotism, for the most part, for the vast majority, is either rooted in bullshit or racism, one of the two. America at the core is still far more patriotic than Europe on a whole. Yes, right, right. And in my opinion, I think America is more righteously patriotic when they are patriotic. I think that they're definitely more righteously patriotic, right? I remember I got into a conversation with a Czech dude on Facebook before I like deleted Facebook off my phone, and this one had my like I think of like me in the profile picture, and this happens a lot, especially on the internet, right? Like, and then but and especially before they hear you talk out here, because we were talking and he goes, okay, here I'll just say it. You're here using all our resources. You're here using all our money because you came from a poor country and all this blah blah. I said, no, dude, I'm from Ohio. Okay. See, and you come from a poor country, you literate and you blah 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 blah. The weird part of see here's the weird part about Europe is like Europe never really got to be the superpower that it always kind of thought it was, right? Because the ego is kind of getting stroked from like other countries wanting to come here. So like it's like this they're confused on their sense of position in it of power. Whereas America is in that position of a world superpower, right? Like that the US is in that position. Um with that being said, like it comes with an ego and all that when pushed. But the thing is, like the immigration issue in North America is literally a joke compared to what they got to deal with out here. It's a complete joke. It's nothing. It's nothing, dude. Like U.S. immigration is nothing compared to out here. Like, because people just ride boats from anywhere to get out here, even far more easier than they can to get to America, right? America, all they got to worry about is just that little part, little Mexico, them little islands out in there, and that's really about it. Like they not really worried. They're not worried about immigrants coming from the east to west. It's just one direction, and that's it, right? And it's not like they can like train in or bus in either. Like see, out here, they could just train and bus in, right? We'll just buy a ticket and just be in this motherfucker, right? Like in many parts. They can just squeeze through easily. It's like the immigration in the U.S. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, there's still just numerical limits. Like if you have a house full of 10 people and your wages are made for 10 people, if you bring in 15, well, you're gonna be fucked up. Like that's just basic logic. But but yeah, immigration is wild. And here's the other part about immigration in the U.S. is like more immigrants will speak English, illegal or legal, right? They'll speak English. See, the problem you'll have out here is they'll come to Czech Republic, or you have entire group like the Vietnamese out here. Most of them will not speak Czech. Well, I don't say most, but or they definitely won't speak English. Um, because the dude, the Vietnamese guy down the corner right here, he's a real cool dude. I won't see him for months, and then see him, and we just like best friends again. He owns a store down there, right? Because I wanted to fuck his sister. His sister is like amazing. She has like 3 kids. I met her at the park, and she was fucking beautiful. Right? She's one of them. But his sister speaks fluent English. I didn't even know it was his sister. So let me tell you a story about the Vietnamese guy who owns a store down the street. So he's always been great, and his wife is great too. His wife doesn't. She only speaks Vietnamese. He can speak Czech, but he speaks no English. So we communicate in my shitty Czech and his, I guess, good Czech. I don't know. So I was at the park with my son, the one like right here, and it was one of the, I was just like, I just don't give a fuck mode. I'm just like eating a honey bun. If I would have had a belly, my belly would have been just hanging out, just eating a honey like. I was just like, and she kept staring at me, right? This hot Asian bitch kept staring at me, right? And so I just finally said, "What book is that you?" Because the book was in English. I looked at the book she was reading, and it was in English. I said, "What book is that?" She goes, "Oh yeah, blah blah blah." So we started talking. She speaks fluent English, not fluent in the sense of like accent. And here's where it got awkward, because I asked her, I said, "Where are you from?" And she goes, "I'm from Canada." And I wanted to be like, "No, bro. Now with you, where are you really from?" Because I speak fluent English. And you do not say Canada, like Canada. You don't say Canada. You say Canada. Right? Canada. Like, I'm from Canada. Tell us, like, no, bro, you ain't from Canada. You lived in Canada, but you ain't from Canada. So we got to talking. She spoke fluent French because she lived in France for a while. And I said, look, I don't mean to be racist, but are you related to the dude down the street? Go, yeah, that's my brother. I was like, word. So I went down and talked to him. He was like, yeah, yeah. And he goes, yeah, and check. He's like, yeah, my sister, she's here for like a month or a week or some shit like that. But she was real cool. I really did like her. I forgot why I even brought that story up. Why the fuck did I bring that story up? I'm fucking tired, man. I don't even remember why I brought this story up. Oh, the Vietnamese. Yeah, that's what it was. Because the Vietnamese, yeah, so here the Vietnamese, like it's like Chinatown in New York. Like a lot of them just won't speak English at all. They don't give a fuck about learning the native language. But the thing is, like Europe is so convoluted with so many different languages and so many different cultures in such a close area. Like here's the thing: if there were no immigrants in Europe, Europe would still have severe unification problems because it's just in their culture to be severely segregated. America, we have our segregation too. Don't get me wrong, but Europe is on a far deeper level where like they're not even using the same money in many countries. You see what I'm saying? They can't. They're not speaking the same language. They're severely segregated. Even if you took out the situation of immigration, Europe would still be in shambles, right? But Europe does deal with a lot more immigration, right? So in fairness, Europe does handle it well, mostly because they've already had the history and experience of dealing with their own neighbors for hundreds and thousands of years. So they've already had that experience of diversification. Whereas America, once you get too far out of like major cities or like down south or something like that, like they not used to seeing anybody different. So they gonna and they're gonna be off, right? especially when you get to them colder areas. If there's one immigrant to come in there, God damn it, build that wall, Trump. I seen this one skit on Instagram where it was these construction workers, right? I thought this shit was funny. They was construction workers, and it said how construction workers be when they finally make 50K a year, and the boss comes and gives the guy his new check, and he's like, yeah, congratulations, right? And they turn the camera away from the guy who received the check, and he's like, yeah, he did good work, and they put the camera back on him, and he's like screaming, right? And he's like on the ground, and he takes off his hat, and he has blonde hair because he's turning into a Republican. He thinks he's a Republican because he makes 50,000 a year and he wants those tax cuts. Like, oh, I'm Republican now. Like, I think America's funny because you got a lot, like Dave Chappelle said, you got a lot of dumb, poor motherfuckers who think they're Republican. And it's usually just either purely out of racism, or it's either purely out of racism, or you got situations like my own brother who was like so goddamn confused on his actual position in the world, or in such denial of his position in the world that he secretly thinks if he just overrides his real position that he'll be accepted by the betters in the world. Is it like an Uncle Ruckus? Not quite. He's not Uncle Ruckus, but it is in that world. It's in that universe. Like if I just if I just mentally space out hard enough and think about what the better people would want, and if I can align myself with that, that will finally get me accepted with it. No, bro, you are not a Republican. If you are, I said this before, if you are not making at least 150K to 200K a year, you are not Republican. Just give up on it. Because they making a fool out of you. All right. Uh, if you're not making 200K a year and you think you're Republican, that's the same thing as an African American woman voting for Hillary Clinton. That Hillary Clinton was making a fool out of the African American community. She dove into the minorities because she was a minority herself to get that vote. Bitch didn't give a fuck about them African American women. All right. It's like Trump don't give a fuck about my damn brother. a, a black felon. I mean, who dresses like shit. I mean, he'll do it to get some points somewhere, but he don't really give a fuck about, okay, maybe not even Trump. I won't even say Trump. The people who will support Trump don't give a fuck about people like my brother. That's the better way to put it. Trump don't care either way. He's just trying to do what he's trying to do. But the people who would support Trump don't give a fuck about people like my brother at all. If anything, my brother showed up, okay, here's the thing. The people who support Trump were to see my brother show up to a meeting, their first instinct would be to kill him. Right? Or get him out the country, start talking about him behind his back, some shit like that. Right? Happened to my brother, he got a white woman turn Republican. You know what's JL? Look, I've always loved white girls, but I do know the reality. I'm not dumb. Okay, I know the reality of the social climate. Right, I'm not ignorant to the social climate. Right, like I've always been into white women. I've always been into white girls, but I've never been ignorant of the social climate. Never. Like there's always going to be friction there. Yeah. But yeah, back to where I started this, man, with turning 40. Jesus Christ. Turning 40. Well, I'm 30. I'll be 39. Just if you're younger, for the younger guys out there, man, or older guys, it doesn't matter, man. Like, do something. If you haven't done anything with your life, chip away at it. You got to do something. Start. Just start. Don't live in your imagination. Get the fuck off Instagram. Get the fuck off YouTube. This is what you do. And this is why, like those stupid clickbait articles, this is why 99% of people fail. Now, this is exactly the reason why 99% of people fail. This is what you do. And this is where 99% of people fail. Because it's not comfortable. Close social media. Put your just hide your own phone. Leave it somewhere. Get off the internet. Get off YouTube unless you just like to watch. Like, I like to watch video games. I like to watch people play video games, shit like that, right? But nothing like to learn anything new about myself, right? It's strictly for just entertainment. Don't listen to any I would say just don't listen to podcasts, nothing like that. This is exactly why 99% of people fail. Go out and experience life with only your thoughts. With, there's going to be people there, other people there at some point. But learn how to sit and keep yourself occupied with your thoughts. Because I would guarantee you this. There's something that you could or should be thinking about that's just too scary to think about. Don't run away from that. Go into it. Dig deeper into that fear. Whatever you fear, whatever you're scared of, all that, don't run from it. Don't run from it. Dive into it. Dive into thinking, well, what happens? What is this? Well, why do people do X, Y, Z? And then try to just formulate. The reason why I think there's so many young men suffering is because they're not sitting down and formulating their own thoughts. They're just kind of like absorbing little snippets of other people's lives all the time, and then trying to think around that and wonder why they still don't know who the fuck they are, because you're not sitting down with your thoughts first and then going out. See, the foundation is all off. And a lot of older people struggle with this. Right? Sit down with your thoughts. Make a firm foundation. It's like life is like building a house. Like with your mind is like building a house. Sit down with your thoughts when you bored. Think about it. When you get bored, what's the first thing you do? You run to go do something because you're bored. Next time you get bored, try saying, no, don't run. Just accept it. Accept it. Just sit there and accept it. Accept the boredom. Don't run from it. Don't run from the boredom. Don't run from the fear. Don't run from being afraid of yourself. Don't run from being afraid of being with your thoughts in the quiet, because it can be scary. It is scary, right? If you've never done it, don't run from that. Don't run from it. Just sit there. When you feel that need, oh no, I need to go do something. No, just think just real quick, right before you get up and do it. Just have a second thought. Be like, wait a minute. I think I'm gonna ride this out. You're going to feel the urge to get up and do anything. Go pee or get a cup of water, anything. Just try to sit down. I mean, don't pee on yourself. Hey, maybe you could pee on yourself. Who the fuck cares? It's just you. It's your underwear. Fuck it. But sit down with your own thoughts, right? And be with yourself and formulate your own thoughts, your own theories, your own philosophies. Just think and think it. Just think. And then what you'll notice is that anxiety / nervousness / desperation to run away from yourself, you'll get it and be like, oh. Then you'll start to relax. And then you might forget about it for a week. And you'll be like, no, remember when I did that? Let me try doing that again. Just cut off everything and just sit. Right? Just sit with myself. Just sit with myself. Don't need no TV on, no radio, nothing. No other outside source of information. Just you with yourself. Right? Just try it. Try it. I think that's where 99% of people feel. Because 99% of people are going to run. Because it's not comfortable. Accept your body's resistance. Vanilla Sky, as we said in Vanilla Sky. Accept your body's. You got to sit there and accept your body's resistance. Accept it. Try it. Anthony, even as an introvert, I'm 53, so I'm used to going out in real life and trying to. Yeah, yeah. See, you're part of the older generation, so you remember those times where you had to go out and talk to people. I think it would be far more difficult for younger guys. Yeah. Oh man, I was on the train today going to the bank to go teach the dude to go teach one of my guys today. And like what I'm noticing more is like the kids now, even in Checker, but like they sit on their phones, scrolling, like going through Instagram reels. Like, bro, we are on a train, and you are looking at a 10-second clip of somebody else's life. We are on a train. Like, is 10 seconds of somebody else's life really that important that you had to reach in your pocket, put your AirPods in, make sure they synced up to a proper volume, and watch 10 seconds of somebody else's fucking life? This is why you so lost and confused, because you look at everybody else's life. Jesus, you know, me and my spouse, we was laying in bed, right? And we was talking. In some kind of way, Kim Kardashian came up. And she goes, yeah, Kim Kardashian's brother. I said, Kim Kardashian got a brother? She goes, yeah, his name's Rob. I said, why the fuck do you know that? Why do you care that Kim Kardashian has a brother? Kim Kardashian ain't keeping up with you. Why you keeping up with Rob, whoever the fuck his name is? That motherfucker. I mean, not to talk bad about him, but why the fuck is she keeping up? What? 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3. What the heck is bothering me? Almost lost it there. Jesus Christ. Now I get like Kim Kardashian was a name. Like you can't avoid seeing that name, hearing it, seeing it somewhere. Right? But Jesus Christ. She talking about some raw. I seriously didn't know Kim Kardashian had a brother. I had no idea. She informed me of that. And that tells you how deep, like, American media goes. Like, see, I know you can't name one Czech star. Can't nobody in here. Nobody in here can name one Czech star. Probably not one Ukrainian star. Not one. Romania, Lithuania. They have stars in their country too, but you don't know who they are. That's how powerful North American media is. They know ours, but we don't know theirs. See, it doesn't just stop at the presidents of other countries. It's everything about other countries. See, our media, the U.S. media is so strong that they will know everything about our shit, right? So don't feel special that we don't know your presidents. We don't know your superstars, singers, basketball players, none of that shit. But they all know LeBron James. I guarantee you put a picture of LeBron James. Motherfucker don't even watch basketball know who that is. Like, oh, they're LeBron James. Motherfucker, I know that motherfucker's middle name. Theodore. That motherfucker's middle name is Theodore. Like, I ain't even know that shit. I mean, look, okay, the only time you gonna know a foreign star is if it's a sexy bitch or a used to be sexy bitch. Like Monica, what's in the house? Say Monica Lewinsky. What's that? Monica Belushi. What's that bitch who did I think that's her name. Is that her name? Monica Belushi? I don't even know her name. I think her name Monica Belushi. I don't know how to spell it. Is that how you spell it? Yeah, okay, yeah, that is her name, Monica Belushi. And she used to be sexy. Well, she still is, especially for being 60. I'll give her that. But that's the only time you gonna know some foreign bitch. I mean, some foreign star is, they were like hot or something like that. Outside of that, most motherfuckers ain't gonna. It's not that it's not that their actors are bad, because in fact, I think a lot of Czech actors are actually really good. But it's just the power of the media in the world. Yo, what's up, Mo? The kids in high school and college are tuning into streamers or YouTubers and celebrities. Okay. So maybe I'm showing my outdatedness. So they're tuning into streamers they're not into celebrities anymore. Okay. Oh yeah, Anthony. Yeah, in the Matrix Reloaded. Yeah, yeah, and she still is good now, I think. But at that time, she was when that came out at that time, like she was like the if you were into white women, she was just like perfection in that movie. I never understood why Audrey Hepburn was seen as attractive just by the picture. I mean, I thought she was alright in the pictures, but until I watched Breakfast at Tiffany's, then I got it. I see, okay, I see why. Like with Kate Beckinsale, I didn't understand why people thought Kate Beckinsale was attractive until I watched interviews with her on like the Late Show and shit like that. I was like, okay, those are situations where their personalities and how they move and walk and talk get them over for me at least. Like I never thought Kate Beckinsale. Kate Beckinsale had a big career when that whole Underworld. She was like that, some type of vampire huntress or some shit like that, or maybe she was. I don't know. I never watched the movies, but um, the advertisement, people were always crazy about Kate Beckinsale. And I never got it until, like I said, until about 2 years ago. I fucked around and watched her in an interview, and she has a certain personality once she gets to talking, you gotta find that attractive on some level. She's like a Jodie Foster. Jodie Foster's the same way. Once she starts talking, she just has her own thing that makes her. And Jodie Foster's much older now, but she has her own personality too. It's like she's just there. Like you gotta find that at least respectable in some way, at minimum. Streamers are bigger than Hollywood celebrities now, and they have the Hollywood celebrities coming to their streams as guests. Word. So I remember the first Underworld. Yeah, I never watched Manson. I know a lot of people enjoyed them, but they were popular for a while. I just never, because I didn't really understand it. I didn't understand if it was like a part of the what's that Blood Rain shit was that one video game. It was a video game. I think they made a movie off of it. Is that the girl who played Rogue playing in Blood Rain, the Blood Rain movie? Yeah, that is her. Wait, no, is that her? No, that's not her. But it was a game. And like I was just young and dumb, so I didn't know. But yeah, when I seen her talk in interviews, that's when I was like, oh, okay, I get it. Like Kate Beckinsale's hot. She's hot. Not because she's like physically hot, but like her. I mean, she is physically attractive, but her personality definitely gets her over in interviews for sure. With me, yeah, okay. Underworld was his own thing. Yeah, I was just young and dumb. I didn't know, man. I seen woman vampires. I just thought it was all the same. At the time, I thought it was all the same shit. I just didn't know. Yeah, that's crazy how nowadays the streamers, for example, Kai, Sinat, or Speed, or Pop. Okay, I don't even know any of those names. Let me Google that. Kai. He's 23. And he's on Twitch with that many? Because what's crazy, that's crazy. And what's the other one? Speed. Now, okay, I've seen his face before. His face does look familiar. I think he was doing the one where he was playing a game and he like freaks out or something, and everybody used that as a meme or something like that. Yeah, yeah, that's crazy. But yeah, I mean, like with the younger generation, another thing happened too over like the last few weeks. Like when I just kind of took a time off YouTube and just did my own thing and was in my own life and stuff. I really started to understand. Really started to see more why guys aren't desirable to women like they should be, right? Like kind of seeing like from the woman's side of it, from like hanging out with my spouse and shit, and like going out and then meeting up, hanging out with friends, and we talk about women and all stuff like that. Or when I go to these jobs, and I mentioned this I think maybe like a month ago, how like technology may in my okay. Here's the thing. in women's eyes, technology makes men faggots. Even though men make technology, men will be the ones who make most of the technology. That's just a statistical fact. It has nothing to do with sexism at all. That's just reality, or genderism, or anti-feminism. It has nothing to do with that. It's just reality of the situation. Men are going to build shit. Women are going to take care of shit. But I do see, I see it more. Like, since I've been going to these banks, right, and I work with about 3 or 4 guys, right, and I see it more. Like, they turn into fags. You mean like fags, right? Like, if I was a woman, right, and I'm looking at it, and women always want some type of every woman wants a dude who's at least a little bit dirty, a little bit of an asshole, a little rough. No woman wants a completely manicured man. All right. The only time they say they do is because they end up in these richer countries where they think other women want that, right? Most women prefer okay, when it comes down to it, a woman would much rather desire. Well, okay, a woman every woman on earth would much rather a man who can clearly go build some shit with his bare hands. He go get dirty or go run in the woods for a while and start and make fires and keep himself warm. A woman would rather do who can go and do some real shit instead of sitting up manicured with his legs crossed in a perfectly clean building, some shit like that, right? And I'm starting to see it now. I'm seeing it more. And how guys are just they're turning into complete faggots with technology. And then here's the thing: my dad could probably say the same thing about my generation, like, and how we were, or how Red Foreman was looking at his son on that '70s show. Like, like the younger guys, like, they're just turning into like, they're just faggots, and they don't even the thing, like, they don't see it, like, they don't see it at all. And the girls have to learn. The girls will adjust, and fuck the ones who they think they'll get the more resources out of later, and that's just the cycle of how things go. But I mean, I see it. I see it. I really do. I see it. And the guys, they don't get it at all. Like, it's getting to the point where it's starting to hurt. Like, I almost walked out the bank today. To be honest with you, I was sitting in the bank and I was reading this book I just got from the library because I took these other books back. The Republic and this other philosophy book. And I got this other book because I just kind of seen it because in this other library there's very little English books. So I just happened to look down. It was in English and it says like a history of. Let me go grab it because I was reading it before I started this live stream. Let me go grab it. You still see me probably. You still see me? Yeah. So I was reading this book. I'm gonna do this. I got this book from I just happened to look down. I seen this. I was like, let me take a look at that real fast. And I opened it up. Well, I'm in the middle of this chapter right now. Actually, I could touch on it because this touches on red pill shit too. But as soon as I opened it up, I seen this was 166. Yeah, I seen this. And it said how people have freed themselves from fear by finding new fears. I said, word, that's a good title. I'm gonna check this out for free from the library. So I was reading that chapter, waiting on. I got to the bank early because my student before him, he canceled, and we're gonna meet next week. So I was sitting down and reading that, and it's really like so. I mean, it's a good book. So now I'm on a topic. I'm about halfway through. I was reading this before I started the live stream because I had just boiled some apples and I was talking to that female friend about fucking Hitler or Gandhi. And now I'm on this. I'll just read it. It says how the desire that men feel for women and for other men has altered through the centuries. And in this, I'll actually read specifically from this because I can tell you, but I'm going to read it. I could be lying in too. But in this, it's talking about how women, as technology gets better, essentially as technology gets better, it allows for women to become more adventurous because now they can finally do stuff that men could always do. But in doing that, they're not. In doing it, it's making women struggle to find a man that they can admire because now they're becoming better than men in in general fields of helping them survive, which is getting money. You don't have to build everything. They could just pay somebody to go bring them a table, build them a table, build them. So like the women can now essentially get all the things that men can either get or build. So women are starting to get more bored. They're getting angry. And this one, I'll actually read this from this lab. I think she was a police officer, and she found herself getting bored and mad with men, and she would start to sabotage every relationship because she wanted the men to win, but the men just couldn't win. And she said feminism was a mistake. Hang on, here it is. So here's from on page 110. It says the feminists went too far. She says so. The book is written by Theodore, but he's kind of like writing it with his interview with her from that perspective. And he says, the feminists went too far, she says, making demands, nothing but demands. It was a mistake. But on the other hand, we wanted to show that we were the equals of men. Now she says women must go back to femininity. She disapproves of her feminist friends who refuse to cook even when they invite a dozen people over to dinner. On the other hand, she resents women getting on by playing at being women. She rejects men who expect women to believe what they say just because they are men. She could not bear to be a housewife. My life as a woman man has failed. I've been taken for a ride. The idea of the couple, however, seems to her to be workable, except she cannot make it work herself. She hands the buck to the next generation. They impress her by the caution they show her with affection, by the most relaxed atmosphere they have introduced to relationship, by the romanticism, the desire to make relationships more beautiful. Looking back, there was little beauty in the way of her own generation met and had sex. I used to behave like a man. If I wanted to go to bed, I did, but it was cold. In Kathmandu, she was invited to try drugs. Yeah, this is kind of boring. Let's see. Okay, yeah. Now it's up to men to make an effort. Instead of just watching women and smiling at them. The trouble is too many of the men she knows are feeble. They lack gumption. So who does she go for advice? To an astrologer. She goes to an astrologer. We need something. Astrology replaces religion, and the astrologer told her that she would always have trouble with men. But this whole chapter so far is about. Okay, oh no, she's a teacher. This woman's a teacher. Yeah, yeah. Because it says like 4/5 of her colleagues were depressed. There were only one or two who cared about their work, to whom education was almost a religion. Who else could give her a sense of direction? I was brought up in a world where girls talked amongst themselves, but she has no taste for gossip. Were we never told we can talk with men? She goes on about how men, the guys will think if she tries to talk to a man, they're going to try to fuck her, so she can't really talk to men. But yeah, oh, then yeah, the first girl, this girl was she was traveling around the world as a I think like as a tax inspector or something, and she would try to date men, and she would say how uh, okay, yeah, let's start here. It says the consumer society not only allows women to buy new gadgets and clothes all the time, it can also mean enjoying men and then discarding them like an unfinished meal thrown into the waste disposal. I now realize I have been consuming men. Her taste for them has not diminished, but her palate has become ever more refined. It takes time to understand what it is that one wants from men. She does not need them to fix it. She does not need them to mend a fuse or help her buy a car, least of all, fill out her income tax reform because she's a tax inspector. The object of her search is a man who can do things she cannot, a man whom she can admire. No man has yet satisfactorily met that challenge from someone whose job is to make men quake in their shoes because she's a tax inspector and most men are afraid of her because she can fuck them up with taxes, with tax problems. For 8 hours a day, I am not a woman. I am a civil servant. That sentence was very strong to me when I read it. She says, for 8 hours, meaning when she goes to work, for 8 hours a day, I am not a woman. I am a civil servant. So I mean, I'm just kind of curious. It doesn't really elaborate, but does she think that men are normally servants? You know, is woman and working a job somehow an extracurricular thing, whereas as is a man and a civil servant synonymous, right? I'm not saying that's what she thinks, but if I had to guess, I think that's where she's kind of leading on with it. Anyway, men are worried by a woman who can stand up to a managing director. They want softness in a woman. I can't be soft in my work. I have to hide my softness, and I am marked by that. It is the price I pay for having interesting work. She continues to fall in love with men. I enjoy it while it lasts, but it never lasts long. I am incapable of having a durable relationship. When I am in love, I become stupid, dependent. Unconsciously, I think I don't like that, so I try to make it fail. It turns into a power struggle. And she continues, she does not quite think that she has made the wrong choices. What she did, she had to do. Women were suddenly liberated in the 60s, and she wanted to experience new freedom. It was the age of the pill, and I had to profit from that. There was a chance, a new sort of life for women. Now she sees it went wrong, but she does not know how it can be put right next time around. Now, where was it at? Maybe it's on this page. You know, but yeah. Have you seen reacted to Melissa Ford's Cat Lady podcast? No. Hey, have you seen the movie called The Heretic? I seen that they're remaking that with the guy from I think it's the guy from that Kingsman 2 movie, which I always liked him. I think he's playing in that. Let me look it up. Yeah, I seen they're remaking. I think it was an older movie. Oh no, maybe not. I'm thinking of something else. No, I haven't. But this was an older movie too, wasn't it? Yeah, from 1977. I never seen it. No, I thought it looked interesting when I watched the trailer, but they still need a man to build the fucking thing. What's up, Neo Morpheus? What's up, man? In current state, what's up, Mo? The younger guys are looking more feminine, long hair, shiny face. That's what women. That's what the women want. They like Timothy. Oh, that one dude. Here's the thing, man. Now I'm not trying to make fun of him. Oh wait, let me make the screen smaller. Okay, okay, okay. I think who said it? I think Puff Daddy said it. Well, so somebody said that shit because he was saying like women don't want to fuck Brad Pitt for real. Like they don't want to like they don't want to like women want Brad Pitt because they think other women want Brad Pitt. Now I like Brad. I think Brad Pitt's a great actor. I think he's a better actor than than most. Right? He's not the best actor, but I think he's a really good actor. Um, I think like when a woman is here's the thing when a woman is dreaming of getting fucked, right? For real. When a woman and here's the thing when I mean fuck, when I say fucked, I'm talking about when a woman is dreaming of like hard, passionate, direct fucking. She is not thinking of this dude. All right. And I don't mean to bash him for that. Now, I'm not saying he can't fuck like that, but he doesn't look like a dude who's getting ready to do. See, that 50 Shades of Grey shit is pure fiction fantasy because they figure other women would want a guy like that. Right? But no woman is gonna want a dude like that to I mean, okay, if he had okay, with a dude who looks like this just by looking like that is not gonna no woman is seriously dreaming of that shit. Right? Now, I'm not saying in real life he doesn't have game or a certain swagger in his real personality to do. I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm saying is by strict look alone, um, with a type of a look and a type of a swagger, he's not gonna make that cut. He's in that same boat of Brad Pitt, right? Women want to fuck Brad Pitt because they figure other women want to fuck Brad Pitt. Right now, I'm not saying Brad Pitt can't fuck like that. Maybe he's got a swagger in his own life, and and all that in game to do, and he can actually fuck for real. Maybe he can do it for real. But the looks, that look, in my opinion, I say this in my opinion, the looks are just not as important for women as they are for men. And the more they look feminine, the worse it gets. The more feminine they'll look, the worse. Because I would have okay. Here's the thing. I still remember when I was in college, I would have a hard time sometimes because some girls thought I was a girl, right? If I wear a hat, all like because I was inside wearing like a skull cap, and I was younger, and admittedly, like when I see pictures of myself when I was younger, I looked more feminine, right? And then now we're on this angle with the camera and all this shit. So it's like this fishbowl look and shit. But when I look at pictures of myself, like I look like a cute girl when I was younger, right? And it would cause problems. Now my swagger after that could get a girlfriend. Like so, like no, I'm Damon. I'm a boy, right? When I tell her no, I'm not a girl. And then the swagger after that could get me in there, kind of thing. But more times than not, no, like that feminine look. In my opinion, the feminine look is enough to get attention, but it's not enough to he can't go spit in a bitch face. Let's put okay. I think that's the better way I should put it. He cannot spit in a woman's face unless he has something else added to his persona. I'll say that. Cute 80 girl arc. Yeah, I used to have problems with that. That was a common problem, honestly. They used to think like, girls used to think I was a girl. They used to think I was a girl. Like I'm just sitting there, I'm not talking. I guess they thought I was a girl who was dressing up like a boy or something. I don't know, but yeah. No, my skin looks horrible, man. Like, well, not horrible, but it no, like I look like for real. How many men will die without having a woman? How many men would die without? What do you mean, like ever having a woman, or like would die, or have the wife die on one of them? One of them die while they're in a relationship. I don't really know. Um, the Substance is a movie you should do a video on, written directed by a feminist, of course. I never heard of that. I feel like I seen the trailer just by that picture alone. I don't know what this is. Got gave reviews. AD, what's your perspective on Western countries having low birth rates? You have a future prediction. Well, I think it's going to get worse. I think it's just going to get worse. I think it's going to get. It's not going to get better in the West because the West has too much access to technology. Well, just like with what I read from that book, and I think that book was written in like 2000. Like it's not a new book, and they seen the feminism problems back then. Okay, the only thing that's going to happen is technology is going to get better, which means women won't need to rely on men. And then what's also going to be inevitable is it's only a matter of, well, guys are already paying for AI OnlyFans and shit like that. It's only a matter of time before robots like legit robots are being sold and come out. It's just a matter of time, and guys will just say fuck it and just go home with a robot that they can just make it have a big booty, big tits, endless throat, all that shit, the endless throat option, 5 speed endless throat, like. So if any, and then on top of it, so the complication, which goes in from what I just read from that book, is the more access to technology women will have, the more refined their taste will be for a man. And then the situation comes in where if you think the 80-20 rule is bad now in the dating world, it's just going to get worse. Because okay, here's another thing. And I'm gonna let y'all go in a minute. My spouse was in the kitchen. We always in the kitchen. And I remember she went to the refrigerator and and we were talking about dating. And I said we were talking about how bad online dating is. And she goes, yeah, it's pretty bad. Blah, blah, blah. And I remember she goes, no, I said, but it's always going to be easier for women because women can just, end up picking which guy they want to talk to. And she goes, no, but all the guys, they're usually always married or in a relationship. And they just don't tell you. And I said, and she goes, well, do you agree with that? And I said, well, this is honestly what I told her. I said, from your perspective, I agree with that. Because from you, as a woman, from your perspective, all you see are the men who are desirable. So from her perspective, most women are only going to like guys that other women are going to like. Right. And I told her, like, partially, she's right about that. Because a lot from what I just mentioned about how technology is turning men into faggots with the online dating. Because then I was talking with a friend of mine in the bar. Like, guys are turning into faggots. Because here's the thing. With online dating, it's really a pathetic situation all the way around. But the thing is, women will always thrive no matter what position you put them in because they literally sell by just being woman. So they don't have to, being pathetic isn't a complete no-go for a woman because she can, at the end of the day, she can still sell just because she's a woman, and that's all. She doesn't have to talk or anything. But the thing, so the things when you do online dating, well, women, they're gonna take pictures and they're gonna, with a little wine glass. That's how you know she's a real loser. She pulled out the wine glass and this shit, right? Because what's she trying to do? She's trying to find the perfect picture. Well, so then what happened? Guys get on online dating, and guys do what guys do. At first, they don't care. They're taking shitty pictures, ding, ding, ding. And then all of a sudden, there's a guy who posts a picture like this. Can you see that? Probably not. Yeah, post a picture like that, right? So then what the guys do? And it come to find out this guy's getting a bunch of matches, right? Because a woman will see that and think that other women want that, right? So then all the women are going to like him, right? Because there's a dude like him or either him or a dude who looks like him that women will say, yeah, other women want to fuck that. So I want to fuck that too, right? So then what the guys do? They go off and then they go out there and get a black T-shirt like that. They go get a necklace like that, and then try to look. They try to imitate it and mimic it to be pathetic, like a woman, right? Because that's what women do. Women, they do the same thing. They go on the internet and they try to imitate other women they see who are deemed attractive by men and imitate that. And it's a pathetic move. But being pathetic works as a woman. It doesn't work as a man. I mean, it can to a point, but usually the women can sniff it out on the guy, even if he's successful. Most women can usually sniff it out on him real fast and get rid of him. at worst. Right. So but then you got more guys, and they're wearing the scarves, and they're taking these fucking gay faggot pictures with a cat on their shoulder, going, they doing all this shit with their cardigan, with their cardigan up, with sipping a mocha latte, looking like even a more of like looking like he just got done sucking a dick, looking like a complete faggot. And then they just and then what happens is the few who make the cut, who could be just as much as pathetic as the woman, all the women are going to chase those guys, right? So most of the rest of the guys just aren't going to get picked, because it's most of the women's choices are built off of what they think other women are making the choice on, right? And then the men are sitting around angry and frustrated because they can't get pussy, because they just not going to give into it, whatever. And it snowballs. It snowballs. I was thinking when I was at the bank, like how gay it is, right? Like, I was watching To Catch a Predator. I think it's scumbaggy shit on both sides, to be clear. I think To Catch a Predator is scumbaggy on both sides, to be completely clear about it. Not just the pedophile, not pedophile, but the dude's fucking underage people. But even from the Chris Hansen side, I think it's scumbaggy shit. And I can elaborate on that if somebody wants me to. But I think it's scumbaggy shit. But the last one that just came out, because it pops up in my feed, and if it's a free episode, I gotta watch that shit. Right? Even though it's fucked up, right? And the dude comes by, and he's like 30 years old, and he works as a cook and a forklift driver, right? And my first thought was like, dude, man, you fucking 30 and you cooking shit, right? Here's the thing. Like, the video I pulled up a while back where the guy, he broke apart professions that women like, right? Now, a cook has more, in my opinion, a cook has more leeway than a male nurse, right? Now, I'm not bashing male nurses, but this is my opinion on how women will see you, treat you, and view you, right? Now, I think a nurse, even though a nurse makes a lot more money in certain situations, nurses are down there with like hospitality workers or like calls. So I had a phone call from my cell phone provider, and it was a dude calling, and he was on this fag shit. It was a Czech dude, and it's like this fag shit, like, oh, hi, how are you? Like, man, like, I immediately wanted to make fun of him. Like, hi, this is Vodafone. I just like this ham. Like, so I sound like a fucking fag. Like these are woman jobs. Now, here's the thing. A cook weirdly can go. Now, he wasn't in the positive direction. Like, you could look at him and tell he's not in the positive direction. The cook on To Catch a Predator. A cook. Now, if you went and became a legit culinary chef, that can be all right. Now, it's still not like, see, Gordon Ramsay is not the most masculine motherfucker in a woman's eyes. Okay, I think he's a masculine dude. I think Gordon Ramsay would be a good dude to hang out with. I think Gordon Ramsay is a masculine dude. But a woman is not going to see him as, she's going to see him as a little fruity, right? Unless he does some wild shit, right? Unless he does some wild shit, a woman's always going to see that as at least a little fruity, unless he's like choking her out while he's fucking her or something like that, spitting in her face or something like that, doing some brutal shit, or he's going out hunting and killing deers or something. Unless he's doing some real mannish shit to counteract it, she going to see him as fruity, right? Because I told my girl, like, I be doing feminine shit. I take care of plants, and I bake homemade cookies and bread, but I choke her out and spit in her face when I fuck her, right? So it breaks the counterbalance. I be doing fag shit, but if you spit in the bitch face, that's pretty gangster shit. And then make her lick it up. So it counteracts this shit. But if you a little 30-year-old dude and you cooking steak and shake burgers and then you going off to try to fuck a 15-year-old girl, yeah, bro, you all off. You just all off. Look, you can buy all that base Bass Pro Shop clothing equipment you want and try to hide under that F350. You can try to hide that shit, dude. Nah, you ain't look. You ain't making that cut, bro. Because a lot of them dudes trying to hide under them F350s. They try to wear that camouflage gear to trick motherfuckers into think they go hunting. And then what they do next? Go out and get that chewing tobacco. Be like, yeah. Be like, yeah. This shit sting, but I think I got it. No, you don't. Stop. Just stop. There's a lot of motherfuckers out there like that. They try to hide under that F-150. They paying $800 a month for it. Like a dummy. That shit don't worry. You ain't making that cut, bro. Look, if you look, I know I hurt somebody's feelings. That shit ain't making it. Look, the only way you can recover from that, is like you got to be a loud motherfucker, or like you got to get in some bare knuckle fights over nothing. You mean like something got to counterbalance that shit. But go watch the latest Chris Hansen. I think it's on like True Blue or some shit like that. I'm giving him a free advertisement because I think Chris Hansen, because I think he's scummy too. If because I could take the time to analyze that shit to explain it, but that shit's scumbag shit too. Both sides are scumbags. Now of course the guys trying to fuck a underage girl is I would say is borderline more scummy. Depending on how deep you want to go, I'd say it's probably a bit more scummy on his side for real. If you really, really, really want to get into what they actually do and the process that it would actually take to have police in there to do that, because essentially it's just social pressure on whatever police station he goes to and just says, hey, I'm Chris Hansen. I want to hold an investigation where you guys collaborate with us at, let's say, Wichita police station. Well, if that police station chooses not to participate in it, well, Chris Hansen could just go on TV and be like, oh, or YouTube or whatever, be like, oh, well, yeah, we wanted to do it in Wichita, but the police, they didn't want to, they don't believe in our calls to find underage girls being sexually assaulted. And next thing you know, now all that whole police station is fucked up. Right? See, it's these little things that nobody's ever going to give thought to because we could just focus on the story, which is an easy win, which is, sex. So I think it's scummy on both sides. They think no one sees them. Are you with the fake F-150? But yeah, here's the thing with culinary, because the latest one, he was a culinary. He said he was a cook. But I don't have a problem with cooks. I cook shit. I don't have a problem with it, but I know how women see it. And then you couple being a cook, you couple this shit with other too much comforts of life, and you turn into a complete faggot, right? Like what another area where many men are fucking, a lot of men in all age brackets are fucking up with women is they're not doing some manly shit just strictly for the challenge of doing something, right? No matter if you fuck up or not, do something. Go out and go. Just if you can afford it, just travel somewhere you ain't never been before and just hang out, right? And just go far away from home and just do that for a while, or like what I'm doing, just start building some shit, just start drilling in the walls and doing shit. And if you fuck up, you fuck up. I mean, go and do some risky shit. Sitting up in a life with repetition and comfort, you know, I mean, it's cool, but something has to counter. And I think that's another area where guys are fucking up severely, and they can't see it. They can't see it. And here's the thing: it's not a woman's job to really tell you this. Women's job is to sit around and wait for men to figure out some shit. So a woman is very rarely going to ever tell you these things. Or just these like the other area is this whole onset of this whole wave of mental illness and everybody trying to like self-diagnose themselves with all these health conditions and all these things. See, that's only desirable when women do it, because women are pathetic. Pathetic equals success in women's world, right? But if a man goes, "Oh, I'm depressed. I got ADHD and anxiety, and I've been diagnosed with S1T1 type 2 depression," you see, now you just look like a complete pathetic retarded faggot now. Right? Because you're sitting on your phone, you're playing video games, you're jacking off the porn, and now you can't even keep your own mental state together. Why would a woman want to? I mean, and then on top of that, you never touched a woman, right? So it's like, why the fuck would a woman ever want to even be with you at that point? There's nothing for you to, there's nothing for her to use off of you or to even admire you for. So it's like, I see it. I see it more, I see it. Yeah, cut the comfort zone out. Cut the comfort zones out. Not all of them, is of course some stuff, but I mean, include challenge into your life. See, women get away with a lack of a woman's only challenge is to make sure her body looks good so a man will fuck her. That's her only challenge in life. And a lot of them don't even, that's not even a challenge for some of them, because it's just biology just picked up the slack, right? But that's our only challenge. Men, you have to seek challenge. I would say seek failure. Go out there and seek failure. Fail, dude. Go out there. You should not, in my opinion, you should not be happy unless you failed at something and you can go back somewhere and reflect on it and think and see what you can do to accomplish a new thing. Don't seek success, seek failure. Because once you fail, that's going to make you stronger. Because anybody can become successful. I mean, theoretically speaking, anybody can hand you $1 million. Anybody can just take $1 million. But going out and figuring shit out, you can't just hand somebody the wisdom from failure and thinking and figuring shit out. Hot take. If people self-diagnose, restrict license, it will have a lot of act right real quick. Yeah. Actually grow from failure than success. Word on. The other challenges competing with other women. Yeah. 80. I would say if a man is a cook, it needs to be accompanied with a masculine trait that's very in your face. Yeah. Overly hit the gym, outdoor traits. Yeah. FLX, flex. I don't know if you want to say that, but yeah. Because like I said, dude, I cook the best fucking sugar cookies. I think they're the best sugar cookies. Actually, I got the last bit of bread I cooked while I was sawing some wood in here. I really don't feel like going to go get it because there's just a little bit left. Fuck it, I'll go get it because I fucked up. I think I put too much flour in it. So here's the bread I was cooking while I was building the couch. I don't want to drop crumbs. It's just a little bit left, but I fucked it up because I put too much flour in it. I wasn't paying attention, so I just dumped all the shit in there. No, the reason why I fucked up is I think I put too much baking soda in it because I don't like to use yeast because I don't want to, I hate the whole situation of letting yeast sit for 12 hours and all that old goofy shit. I just put baking soda in it. That way you just do it immediately. But I think I thought I put a little too much baking soda in it. So to balance it out, I just put way more, milk and flour into it. So it came out like looking like that look doesn't look bad, but the outside came. It's usually much smoother than that. It's usually like a legit loaf of bread, and this looks like a. It looks like a KFC biscuit, or one of them biscuits from what I mean, from one of them places like that. But yeah, like I did that shit, and I could never respect her again. Charlie Hunt. Well, that's better, man. If you don't respect her, I think that's better for her. I like cooking as well, but let a chick call me out of my name and she would get roasted all the time. It's like a brick. Yeah, you should come to America and see how it is. Who knows, man? Maybe. But I just got no real. I mean, from my like, I just go to Ohio, and I don't really. I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe we'll see. But yeah, the professions. So yeah, us look that up real fast, and I'll let you guys go. Let's look up. Um, yeah, careers men find. Wait, can you guys see that? Yeah, you can see that. Yeah. So it says careers men find most desirable in women. There are two careers that appear in all five lists. The first may not surprise you based on common stereotypes. Regarding the second, it's nice to see teachers being appreciated. Yeah, and this is usually it's usually going to be the back. Thanks for the subscription, Ali Drinky Poo, a little Drinky Poo. So it's usually going to be completely backwards. Women are desired when women are usually desired when they're in positions of. I'm trying to move this up. I don't know why I feel bad. Women are usually more desired when they're in positions of catering, when they pour beers for people, bring some food, you know, fluffing pillows, shit like that, right? Or like a teacher for them, middle school. Yeah, women who look like they can take care of kids. Yeah. So flight attendant, waitress, bartender, lawyer. That must have just been for the one or two guys who probably was a lawyer, or want a woman to take care of him or something like that. But most of them they're going to be catering jobs, like jobs that are strictly catering to people. And women are going to want guys who are going to build shit, make shit, fix shit, protect shit. Right. This is what it is. Firefighter, lawyer, doctor, police officer, founder, entrepreneur. This is code name make shit. This is code name builder. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Now, here's the difference, real fast, right? So careers that women find most desirable in men. Oh wait, now it's covered up at the bottom. See, okay, let's flip this. Let's go back up to the jobs that men find attractive in women and the core of what they are, right? And let's look at the different time periods. It's not just in 2024. Let's take it back to the year 1500 and then to the year like 200,000 BCE, right? Or 200,000 BC. Like, let's go back to caveman years, right? The professions that men found desirable in women is the same general concept of what it's always been. Women who can take care of people when they're sick, women who can take care of children. Flight attendant is essentially the same. Okay, flight attendant, these three are essentially the same fucking profession. Okay. Okay. Flight attendant, waitress, and bartender are literally the same profession. The only difference is one of them is 20,000 feet in the air, 30,000 feet in the air. That's the only difference. Flight attendant, waitress, and bartender are the same goddamn job. Okay. Lawyer is about the only one that really sticks out. And I say lawyer is the only one that's severely a victim of just of time, right? Now, secretary is pretty much secretary is the boss's bitch. Secretary shows that she can follow orders to manage appointments and shit like that. The secretary is codenamed the boss's bitch, right? All of these lawyer is, in my opinion, is the only profession that has fallen into the victim of time. That just didn't. It doesn't really align with any of the other professions. Doing, I mean, you can say in some ways, but for the most part, I would just give it that. Now, on the flip side, it's going to be the same that it's always been here too. What women find most desirable in men. Well, okay, yeah, firefighter, lawyer, and again, lawyer is one. Doctor, compared to caveman times. Well, even then, in caveman times, there was probably some caveman fixing motherfuckers up back then too. But anybody who's protecting or building shit, anybody in the list who's protecting or building shit, I would say the only one in this that doesn't fit throughout the entirety of human history is possibly engineer, because they just didn't have the math. But I mean, you can really debate that too. But see, a woman does not want a man bartender. You see what I'm saying? A woman does not want a man waiter. A woman does not want a man call center rep. A woman does not want a man in a feminine position. And a man usually doesn't. A man usually doesn't prefer a woman in a manly position, right? Now, a man will deal with a woman in a manly position, where a woman usually won't deal with a man. A woman usually won't do the same thing the other way around. Male nurse. I touched on male nurses earlier. Male nurses. The only way I've ever seen that successfully work, and where the woman where I met them and the woman genuinely acted right, was a friend of mine. And the only reason he made that work, because he was a friend. I mean, he is my friend. I just haven't talked to him in a while. This guy was literally Eric Cartman, but he was skinny and had a bunch of tattoos. He was like Eric Cartman, loud, single mom house, you know, not particularly racist, but he would just say fucked up shit about. I think he used to have jokes about gingers. Like, he was just severely inconsiderate. He's a white dude. He's a great friend to me. He always was a great friend to me. So that's what he was always an asshole, right? Not an asshole, but an asshole, right? He was always like that. And I remember when he met his wife now. I still remember the first time I seen her. She was driving this Jetta, this old Volkswagen Jetta. It was super loud. Like, the muffler was fucked up. And what else that helped him out was he went to the military. So he was loud. He was always like a loud, kind of brutal dude. And he went to the military. And then he went to college, and then got the, is it called RN or whatever the fuck, to go be he is an RN. He's a registered nurse. He went to school to go do that after that. Now, that's the only time I've ever known a guy to be a male nurse, or even a doctor, to be honest with you, because the few doctor friends I have, it's the same thing. Here's the thing. I think medical doctor and military men are in the same boat. Very different earning potentials, but still the same boat. meaning women think that they want this. They have this image in their head of a certain character, but in reality, it's a whole different thing, completely different thing. Um, the medical world. Here's the thing: the medical world, by just alone, the medical world, in my opinion, I think it's still in and of itself a very feminine field. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, it's needed for, of course, for things. But if, to a woman's perspective, it's still a feminine. It's a feminine world. Like, okay, if you were to compare a firefighter to a doctor, right? Like, the only reason why a woman would fuck a doctor is because he literally just says he's a doctor. A woman would want to fuck a firefighter because a firefighter, she knows what a fire truck looks like and all that shit like that, right? It's a whole different situation. Now, I'm not saying a firefighter is an automatic win, but a firefighter is definitely up there in getting respect from a woman. What's up, this guy's called asshole, but he's not a dick. Yeah, like what's that? Team America, World Police. But yeah, what got him over, because okay, he was okay. So that friend, that was a situation where a long time ago I brought up how, because the BMW I have in the U.S. It was it was a slightly older BMW, because the reason I got it was because I had to have a stick shift, and it was hell trying to find a newer model BMW that was a true stick shift with a clutch, because they would sell them as manual transmissions, but it would be that stupid thing with like it didn't even have a clutch. You just like moved the stick to the right and to the left to shift it. It was dumb, and they kept selling them as manual transmissions, and we kept going to look at them, and they never was the clutch manual transmission. So we found, I think it's like a 2011, I think, or 2013, something like that. And so when I came here, his wife was the only person that I knew who can drive a manual transmission. Because in America, it's not common to drive manual transmissions, and she ended up being the only person that I know. And so I let her borrow the car I let her, so she can drive it, so it doesn't just sit while I came to Europe the first time. Well, so she wanted to pay me back. Both of them wanted to pay me back. So, yeah, just come over and we'll go get something to eat. And they lived in a part of Dayton, Ohio, where I didn't know much of that area. So it was me and her. We was sitting on the couch just hanging out, and he had went upstairs, I think to dress or something. And we was just talking. And she asked me, well, she goes, Wendell, where you want to go eat? And I said, look, I don't even know what's out here. Like, this is your neighborhood. What's out here, right? And a little bit to fuck with her, because she claims she's a feminist, right? So a little bit was just to fuck with her. And she would not make it. She just wouldn't make a decision. So he yells from upstairs, we're going to Applebee's. Like, yells it like hard, because he knows everything. And and she goes, okay. Right, but she's like, I don't know if she's still on that feminist shit now. I don't, because she's not a feminist. She just like pretends she's never been there. He would never, a feminist couldn't even exist with somebody like him. Like these two, because there's times I'll be like, yo, you gotta calm down. You're gonna get us killed. Because he was running with these dudes. He was in straight edge. Does anybody know what straight edge was? The only reason I don't know what straight edge is because he was doing that shit, which is weird because he drinks beer now. But he was in straight edge, and he was always running with these dudes who were not thugs. Like, they weren't poor or nothing like that. They was in families, but even the families was off, right? Like, I remember we was hanging out at one of his friends' house. And the dad was one of those guys who was working like these IT jobs in like Afghanistan and be there for like 2 months at a time or some shit, and he get paid like $100,000, some shit like that, right? He was one of them type of dudes. And his son, I think his name was Jason or something like that. That dude, something was wrong with him, man. Like, he was like my Uncle Tommy. He was one of them dudes, he would fight anybody. He didn't give a fuck. Like man, woman, child. Look, if he felt like fighting, y'all was just fighting. And he wasn't a small dude, right? Something was wrong with him. Something was he wasn't one of them dudes just driving the F-150 and with the chewing tobacco with the skull. He wasn't one of them clowns. He was the real deal. This motherfucker wasn't rap tight. All right, the whole time I would just be a little. I was a little scared every time I hang out this motherfucker because I don't know what he get ready to do. This motherfucker was wild. And then on top of that, his little sister was cute. His little sister was like 18, 19, something like that. And she was cute. So I know he was waiting to beat up a motherfucker who looked at his sister. Like, his sister be sitting right there. He'd be like, I don't see your sister, bro. Your sister here? And she was standing like Debo. His sister be like right there. You don't even look at her, bro. It ain't worth it. This motherfucker ain't wrapped too tight. But he was wild, man. But he was the only one I was uncomfortable around. Everybody else you can manage, but he was the only one that was fucked up. Something was wrong with him. He just wasn't right. And it wasn't a poor neighborhood either. He was one of them type of dudes. He was a real one. He wasn't them dudes who just slave for an F-150 and hope nobody finds out. He wasn't one of them. Being real, it don't matter. You don't got to be poor to be one of them kind of dudes. But yeah, that straight edge. The thing about the straight edge dudes, they was always fighting. Like they were always fighting somebody, and it was all white dudes. They was always fighting. They was always getting into shit, breaking shit. It was always something broke, loud. They was always into something. It was always criminal activity, and I ain't do none of that shit. Like I was just friends with the one friend of mine, and we was always good. So I would get in through him, but I wasn't on it because at that time, I was the one going to college. He wasn't even going to college at the time because we was working at this plant. We was working at this plant called Delphi, and we was making car struts. And it'd be hot as fuck because you had to we didn't weld it, the machine welded. We were just factory workers, and it was at Delphi in Dayton. Well, not technically Dayton. I think it was like the small city over, but yeah, we worked, and that's where I met him. And he was in the playing Halo, and that's how we got cool. Because we got to talk about Xbox, and he invited me over to play Halo, and that's how we became friends. We played Halo together. But he was all. Now here's the thing about him: he was always really good at video games. He was the one person I could not beat at Madden. I know I couldn't beat him at Halo, and I couldn't beat him in racing. I thought I could be faster than him running, and I couldn't beat him in running. He was always faster than me. But he was always a good dude. Always. He never did anything fucked up. Nothing. Never. Not one time. Not one time. Or his wife. Because he met her. He was like 20 and I think she was 16 when they met. She was, I mean, maybe not. She was definitely underage. I remember that. She was definitely, because he's a year older than me. And she was definitely not 18. I remember, but it's not like she looked like she was younger. But I remember she definitely was not of age. He be on Chris Hansen with the skull. Chris Hansen would have got him. But what are you doing here? You ever notice that Chris Hansen? He always says the same shit. But what are you doing here? You come over here. I want to stick my blank in your blank. Remember that? Because he couldn't cuss because he was on ABC. He was in the big time back then. He done fell off a little bit now. He on YouTube doing it. But back when he was on was it ABC or CBS, he couldn't cuss yet. Like, but what are you doing here? I want to stick my blank in your blank and then blank the blank blank. but what you don't try. You were talking to but you said this to a 15-year-old girl. He always has the same shit. Like, this motherfucker literally has, like, the same 6 things he says every time, right? Like, with no variation. Absolutely none. And I still watch that shit. Chris Hansen, To Catch a Predator. YouTube got more views than ABC. Other channels are dying. Word up. What are you doing here? But what are you doing here? Man, he trying to get some pussy. He went and he talked to a 15-year-old. You wanna know what's something crazy? I remember, because here's that, I was so good at getting hookers, right? Off the street. Well, okay, they weren't like crackety crackheads. They was like good looking hookers back in Ohio. Like, cause this was a weird time. And again, I always have to stress this time in Ohio was a weird time. This was a time when the economy just went to shit. Um, all the good factory warehouse jobs were gone. And then heroin had just came there, right? So you had girls that looked amazing doing anything for $50, right? Because this is long before the days of OnlyFans, where girls knew, or Cash App, where girls knew that there was some pathetic dude that would just Cash App them $100 for a conversation, kind of thing. Trying to get into their pussy. They didn't know that none of this existed yet. And in the street, while there was so many of these girls being streetwalkers, like every block was filled with girls, and people just pull over, and girls will come up and you just say, "You want to ride?" And then they come get in, right? But I remember one time I was bored in my off season, and I was on Craigslist talking to some girl, and then literally the message back, I said, "This is a cop." So I wrote back. I said, "Look, I know you're a cop, like because real people don't talk like this." And at first they tried to like say, "Nuh-uh, what are you talking about?" And then they admitted to it. Probably about three or four messages later, because I explained to them, like, "Look, this ain't how this works, dude. If you want to pay me, I can help you go find other guys, but this is not gonna work on me." And I was like emailing the cop back and forth. And get this, like the cop was so dumb. He clearly admitted to being a cop at one point. He said, "Okay, yeah, like, yeah, sorry, we just doing this because they just been an uprising in this area." And then I don't know if somebody, if that cop shift must have ended and somebody else came in, but they emailed me back trying to still see if they could get me to come pick them up for like $150, some crazy shit like that. Like, no, see, because first of all, they didn't even know the prices. Right, that $150 for a Dayton, Ohio hoe, pre OnlyFans and pre Cash App days, $150 is way that was way too much for a good looking college girl. That was way too much. All right, to be on Craigslist. By the time you was asking for that, the only girls back then in that area that was asking for any more, who had the courage to ask for any more than $50, was that I think it was called Backpage or something like that. And I never understood why guys would even go on there. Probably because I was just in a great area and I didn't need that. But like, Backpage was an area for prostitutes back then. I guess that was like where the higher end. I did go on there a few times, but that was back in the severe racist days, where women would just they would like put in exclamation marks in capital letters, "No black men, no Hispanic men," or they would just literally put "white men only," blah blah blah, blah, right? See, this was back in the real racist days when nobody, you know what I mean, like, you see, it's okay to be racist to them, but it's not. But you say it to white guys now, it's like this whole big oh, all that. But back then it was normal. Really, didn't even get mad about it. It's like, okay. But I never understood. And then they was charging like upwards of 150. So by the time they were on Craigslist asking about that, that was just no, didn't fit it. I knew it was a cop immediately. Immediately knew it was a cop. But yeah, because I had a whole system and everything, man. Like, um, because I just kind of deduced the logic. Like, if they were a cop, let's say if it was a streetwalker, right? If they were a cop, just pull up next to them and say, "Need a ride," right? And there was only one time where the girl was clearly a cop. It was a streetwalker and she was a cop. Because I asked her if she wanted a ride. And she goes, "Oh yeah, just come over and pull over down there." I said, "No, just get in. We right here." It goes, "Oh no, just come down the street and pull over." I said, "No, I'm all right. I'm doing that." Right? You come get in my car, and then we will drive wherever I want to go. All right, because I'm not doing that. That was cop shit. Because and then she was also in an area that wasn't the normal streetwalker area. It was like this outdoor area next to a highway where like you could clearly see from far away, kind of thing. All of that screams suspicious. But she was kind of cute, so I took the gamble real fast. Wasn't worth it. Because here's the thing: if she's a cop, okay, if she's a cop, that means she has something to lose. If she has something to lose, she is not getting into a car with a stranger. Right. By the time those girls are out there street hooking like that, that means she ain't got nothing to lose, and so she'll go get in a car with a stranger because she ain't got no nice house to go back to and all that shit like that. See, is this deductive logic that I think some guys don't know or think about, or maybe they can get caught up in something else. I don't know. Maybe there's another method that's out there that I've never seen. But my logic was, look, a woman who's a police officer is gonna be making 40,000 a year back then. 40,000 a year is good money, especially if you don't have any education. That's really good money. Okay. She is not getting into a car. A woman in that position in life is not getting into a car with a random stranger once she's got that job and that money coming in because she's got too much to lose. So if she don't get in the car, it's not worth the risk. How are guys finding hookers in America today? Rodeo. Now I can't answer that. I've been gone too long. I've been gone too long, and too many phases hit. So I don't even know. I couldn't tell you. I don't know. I do not know of a reliable way to to find it. I don't know if it's because I'm sure they're not on the street anymore. With phone, unless you go to like a hood where they can't afford to pay their phone bill kind of thing. If they got access to a phone, there's no reason for them to stand outside anymore. Walk down the street. Unless you go into the hood. And then even there, you really can't trust a lot of that because they'll just, because that's just game, right? Wait, I'm gonna get out of here because it's 10:08. This had to have happened early. Yeah, well, 2000, I say, maybe 12, 13 ish. 50. Oh, JM. Oh, man. Dude, you get a blow? Okay, no. Okay, no. Real quick. JM. 50. Okay, 50 was a high end price. 50 was a price like for. Look, I knew. Okay, I remember one girl, I picked her up from somebody's house. 50 was a price where you go, okay, where you get one of them 22-year-old girls that's look good. They were not fat or anything like that. $50 was a price where you get one of them little 22-year-old girls and you can take her to somebody's basement and it'd be filled with guys and all the guys just would just sit there and like jack off on her while she's playing with her pussy and just like that bukkake shit. That's what $50 used to get you back in the 2010 10ish area and probably even more before then if I had just been older and known to do that. Known all that existed. It was probably even more. It was probably even cheaper before that. 50 was the high end price. Like 50 was the price. 50 was the high end price. Okay, the going rate was generally, I think it was like 10, 20, depending on the girl and how she felt that day. $10, $20 for a blowjob. 30, 40 for complete sex. Right, and it's depending on the girl at the time. Here's the thing, like all this, the whole inflation is deep, man. So like the thing is, like back then, like it's like if you caught a girl when she needed her bills paid, she'd do anything for $20 if she had if she needed the money, because women don't have that sense of holding out and all that. They've learned it now because they know they can because of social media and all this. But back then they didn't know. They would do anything and it'd be good looking girls, not some fucked up trash. It'd be some good looking girls. Well, again, I was in the specific situation of Ohio at the time, but yeah, Jam. Oh yeah, man. You didn't get to experience it, man. Can we get a game stream next time? Yo, Charlie. Yeah, I'll try to, man. because I'm moving shit and it's just too much. Because I'm playing Dragon Ball Z Kakarot right now. I meant to mention that earlier. I'm playing Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, and it's filling in a lot of the gaps that I didn't really understand of the story. I'm sure it's missing some parts too, but it's like some stuff I never really knew exactly when it was happening in like the early stages, like when I haven't even fought Frieza yet, but like I just didn't really know like exactly how Vegeta and Goku even began to start to align with each other. None of that. I never really knew. I got like snips and pieces here and there because my cousin would watch it, and I'd kind of watch it with him. But I was never a habitual watcher of Dragon Ball Z, the game is pretty much just Zone of the Enders. If you play Zone of the Enders, you play Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. It's literally Dragon Ball Z Kakarot is literally Zone of the Enders with a Dragon Ball Z skin on it. That's all it is. For the most part, that's what it is. The general overall situation. But the story and the voice acting is filling in the gaps. So I'm enjoying it for that. And maybe tomorrow, or maybe tomorrow I'll hook it up and play it on a live stream. I don't know, because I got so much shit in the way, and my place is a mess right now. But yeah, I'm gonna get out of here because I'm hungry. Y'all have a good night, man. Thanks for everybody who liked, donated, subscribe. I catch you on the Foot Flip, man. Peace out. I'm starving.